Good morning, Stonkmerica. Good morning, everybody. Back once again with the Renegade Master, Beat Bad Badable. Hey, hey, that's me, Rocky Outcrop. Tea time with Rocky. No tea, that's fine. Have coffee. Good morning and welcome to the show. And what a great show we have coming up this morning for you all. It is roughly 8:15 in the east coast of America, 15 after the hour. And it is 1:15 UK time, 2:15 Dutch time. And I hope everybody out there is having a great day. We've got plenty to look forward to, and it's good to see all of you in the chat. I have my cup of tea right here. You can see the steam rising at the top of it. Oh, that's quite hot. Fresh out the kettle, and we are fresh out the kettle ourselves, are we not? I don't know. Does that even make sense? What does that even mean, Rocky? We're going to be looking at the stocks in the market today. It's September the 1st. Wow, a new month, a new day, a new month, a new dawn, a new day, and I'm feeling good. The jobs report's coming out this Friday in the United States. Whoa, big stuff coming up there, of course. What's that going to mean for El Federuni? Will it mean that they're able to say that significant progress has been made in the economy? That's what they're always looking to say. Significant progress. We've reached a real milestone here, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that's what we're looking for. Can that actually happen? What implications will that have for the Fed? And are there still worries with regards to the economy with the possibility of a Delta variant? And do we see that in the impact of the figures with regards to economic activity in relation to high contact areas such as restaurants and hotel occupancy? Whoa, that's another thing that is being reported. Now, what we're seeing is that the economic market activity has returned to those February 2020 levels. It has plateaued somewhat, and in the meantime, we've seen anything but a return to February 2020 levels in the stock market. We're all very, very, very aware that the stimulus has pushed things way beyond the normal bounds of expectations. Yet here we are, and we're still kicking on. Anyway, our two favorite stocks, GME and AMC, performing fairly well over the course so far this week. New month starting here, included in a new 450 stock index. That's pretty cool. Daniel Lesage dropping the lucky fiver in the chat. Thanks so much for that. Always appreciated. Well, we'll be covering all of that and so much more in today's show, so that's why it is fantastic to see you all here. See, Stream Elements telling us that the Stream Elements bot is running. Don't really know what the Stream Elements bot's got up its sleeve. It'll be interesting to see if it is as disagreeable as Stream Labs and Nightbot's bot has been for everybody chatting along next to it out there. I'm seeing more and more talk about GME going into the S&P 500. Woo! More and more talk about it. Well, there we go. Party Puppy saying the economy is totally fucked. Well, that's that and more all coming up right here on the Rocky Outcrop Show. Time to hit like. Have you hit it yet? Thanks to everybody that has. You guys are the good ones. That's right, everybody who hasn't hit like, start feeling guilty. But be aware that I will remind people and ask, have you hit like later on? In which case, if you hit it now, you'll maybe feel bad for not having hit it earlier already, but you'll feel a hell of a lot better than you would later on if I reminded you then and you still hadn't hit it. Eh? And here we are back again with a website behind me, green screen action. Remember, hopefully, to look at the correct camera, Rocky. And this is it. By the way, great to see you out there, Ronaldo Moreno. The pipes of gods. What you have is you've got ambrosia, the food of the gods, and then you've got nectar, the drink of the gods. And then you've got Ronaldo Moreno, the musician of the gods, the voice of the gods. That's right. Hey, how about that for a review? Put that on the cover of your next album, on the back of it. Brilliant. Right, so here we have some markets. ZM1 exclamation mark on the 4 hours. What the heck is that, Rocky? As news articles come out telling us that insect larvae may even be able to replace completely, I know, soybean meal, in farming. I know, that's right. There are scientists out there at the minute working away thinking, how can we make it so that our vegetarian, grass-eating cows, which we've been feeding soybean meal to, and it costs us all that monies, how can we convert them into insect-eating monster animals that we can then chop up and put in our burgers? How can we do that? Anyway, science has been working towards that ultimate goal, looking to try and trick cows and other animals into becoming carnivores through eating insects. Interesting stuff. Will they convince the cows to do it? And some scientists have already decided that they have. Well, anyway, this is soybean meal futures. We're not going to abandon the idea of feeding our livestock with soybean meal. There's other types of meal out there that you can use to do all variety of things. I'm sure you can use soybean meal to process it and try and create soybean oil or something like that as well. I'm sure there's whole things like that. But this is kind of part of that commodities thing and part of that inflation cycle as well, and part of that, although inflation not so much on this one, and part of that global trade war dynamic that exists between China and the United States. Well, the soybean meal has dropped down to these prices here. Good morning, by the way. Shohan 43, Segan 43, not sure how you pronounce your name, by the way, buddy. Good morning as well. Thanks for that next Daniel Lesage lucky fiver, by the way. I believe we should feed GME shorters to the cows. Indeed, good one. Make it into meal first, grind it up. Nice. So here we've got soybean futures, and it's one of these ones that I look at from time to time myself. Of course, I've been enjoying this big decline that it's been having, seeing that happen recently, and of course, it put in a low over here in June 2021 around about the $340 price point, and currently trading, if I just move the mouse out of the way, in at $342.40. Are we going to see a bounce on this one? I'm curious about it. Just taking the Fibonacci from our lows down there up to the highs, we can see that we have arrived twice, once and again, here into the golden pocket on this recent decline. Now, if I zoom on in, this is a market, by the way, commodity, and is a futures thing, and it's traded, I believe, over there on CBOT, CBOT, and its trading hours are different from the normal stock exchange, etc., which is why you can see that currently there's 3 hours 46 minutes left on this trading session, while the NASDAQ and NYSE, etc., haven't opened up quite yet. So this is a different type of thing. The markets are obviously open for this one. Just to tell everybody who's looking over there at the countdown timer on the right hand side where the prices are on that index. Let me just check my screen and see that it's actually we're okay for the width of everything. I can get rid of that menu. Yeah, we look like we're okay for the width of things. So in this zone just here, we've come in and put in a second low. I'm interested to see then, will we see a bounce? Is that possible for us? Just looking quickly at the price action to see exactly where we got closures at. Right down here, what was this over on the left? That was wicks. That means we know that this is a lower low. In fact, despite the fact that those wicks went down a bit lower, what we can see here is an obvious decline in the momentum, this negative strength here on the MACD. And if I just were to point out the same thing with regards to to the last couple of lows that we've had here. From this low over to over here, you can see the upward slope on the RSI. So that's pretty good. Now we're at the point here where the DMI is showing us that, of course, we've got a bit of the old negativity on the go. Are we going to see this tiny little wedge type look of the thing actually drop the negative DM down as a result of the prices going up? I don't know. It would be cool to see if the prices of soybeans can get up to $350. I suppose there's the target that was put out by the USDA, the United States Department of Agriculture, when they talked about what the anticipated price of soybeans would be up there at 385 on average for the year of 2021. That we are some ways away from achieving them goals currently. So anyway, that's something to look to. We can come back and revisit any news articles that I may or may not have open on my tabs about that later on when we come back round to talk about the news at the top of the hour. Anyway, that's that one, and that's a little bit different. Let's go and check in with our favorite stock here, GME. This is our favorite stock. I say that slightly tongue-in-cheek. It is our favorite stock, probably, though, to be honest with you, for anybody who's wondering, why are you saying that about this wee thing here, GameStop? Well, it's an exciting mover and shaker in the world this year. It really has been over if you look back to this time last year to where it was then to where it is now, and it's really fantastic opportunity. Now there's also opportunity there with regards to the potential for having sort of market changing impacts with you making regulators and of course market participants themselves really think twice about allowing people to do flagrant naked short selling. So there's that aspect as well, which makes GME extra exciting. Now there's other stocks as well that are being considered to be part of this movement. It's with this meme stock chat. You've got the likes of AMC, again another heavily shorted stock which has done very well. We'll be taking a look at the price action on that at the bottom of the hour in a couple of minutes here, but this one is perhaps the key component of the entire current so-called movement here, or revolution almost. It depends on what your particular stance is on that. Anyway, and zooming on in here, you can see that with regards to the analysis that we did yesterday, that we actually have done a pretty good job on it. What happened was we went up towards this green line at 222. We did not manage to get up as high as our orangey line in there at 226 to be able to really say that we've actually managed to transform things over here, but we have been kicking around about here. And in yesterday's trading session, we were up above it, $218, up above this $216 resistance support line, down again to 212, giving you your best buy price of the day yesterday, kicking around about here again at this line. Now you can notice something very interesting if you're paying attention here, looking at the charts. Let me see if I can reach as far as it with my arm. No, I can't. It's all the way over to the far side there. Can you see where I'm looking? All the way over, over there. Yeah, I'm looking over towards the pre-market price on the right-hand side on that y-axis, coming in there currently at $222.86. $222 obviously being that resistance level. So, it depends again. Here we go. Here I go again down that road. Will there be a gap when we open? How are we going to handle any gaps? Gosh, of all the songs I've ever sung, that's probably one of the ones I've almost wanted to sound like I'm bad at singing with, despite the fact that I obviously am bad at singing, so definitely hit a home run with that one. Anyway, we're above that 216 or so pivot point in the market. So we can see yesterday's close at 218. Are we going to travel $4 towards the downside? to be able to fill that in before moving on up to date and so on? And are we going to continue this bullishness? And maybe as well, worth mentioning that it was nice to say at the start of August that I was feeling positive about August. Do you remember that? Do you remember I said I'm feeling positive this month? Do you remember? Let me know in the comments there if you remember what I said on the 1st of August. Well, here we are on the 1st of September, and I remain positive, and that's nice. It's pretty good. It's easy to remain positive when prices of things that you've been talking about have moved up 50% in the time that you were saying that you felt positive, of course. So that's pretty easy for me to remain positive on that front. Yes, last month in August, saying and telling everybody and being and acting and sounding positive while everything was going on, I think has paid dividends. And there's another stock that we look at with regards to all this, like I said, AMC, 30 minutes after the hour, bottom of the hour. Here we are in here looking at AMC pre-market prices on this one, kicking around about 47 and 30 cents, and the close yesterday in there at 47 and 14 cents. So despite the fact that these two stocks move in complete unison and exactly the same at all times, we are noticing that actually the majority of the time there is a difference between them, which is a bit funny. It's a bit hard to reconcile that with, of course, the well-known, well-accounted, well-documented fact that these two stocks operate exactly the same in unison. We've had a laugh about this week. It was pretty good. I actually got it so that you could see them operating in unison for reals for a wee while, and then showed that disparity kicking in later on after they had, of course, moved apart. It's a common phenomena that we'll see in stocks. People who are new to trading are often blown away when they see something like that happening in front of their eyes. Well, we witnessed it. When was it? Monday that we witnessed that? That was pretty good witnessings that we had with respect to the correlation between these two very popular, very well traded, and very well discussed stocks out there. We're seeing AMC, like I say, up there, 47.26 at the minute, kicking around about the area that it closed off yesterday. It doesn't look like there's going to be that gap on the charts with this one. Be interesting, therefore, to see how it's able to handle the line up above for it. Now, there is an equivalency, I suppose you could say, with the other chart, in that we have a green horizontal line up above us. Just kind of make a quick comparison here to see with GME. With regards to that green horizontal line. Now, this green horizontal line is where the markets are currently trading. Pre-markets are currently trading on AMC at that line. Over here on GME, over here on AMC, you can see that pre-market is not trading at that line. That line is in at $48.24, or 28, probably should be at 48.35, where we had that prior high. Let me just kind of get that. There we go. Where is it actually coming in at? So anyway, 48.30, that's where that line is. That's what we're looking to. Will we be rising up there? How will we handle that area of support and resistance? Now, what we can see here with regards to trend is that we have had a downward trend, a reaction. Look for the bullish divergence. Beautiful. It looks great. I'll leave that on there for a wee while. And then we've, of course, had this lovely reaction towards the top side. Staying above at this time now, $43 is very important for us. If we were to drop down and wick down, we could go down to 41. I believe there's a gap there that could be filled and everything as well. But we could then, of course, we could find that as our low. So this is the range that we could operate within. If we did operate within that range now without actually taking out these highs, then you'd be looking at having this sort of consolidation affair on the go. So that would be ongoing if that was the case. Instead, what I like to do right now is to acknowledge that this closure that we've had is actually higher than the previous closure, and then look down here and see, well, if we did that, did we do it without divergence? And unfortunately, we didn't between these 2 points here. As you can see, going back the way here across the oscillators. Now, it's actually as well, it's likewise, it's on the stochastics too. So that's something that we can remain vigilant of. So what does that actually mean for us? Well, counterintuitively, I suppose, since that we are up here and we're doing okay so far, what we maybe actually need to see is to push on a little bit higher, actually, to get that price action itself to push on up and then carry with it the oscillators down below. And that would require, I would imagine as well, another boost up in that volume. Now, we've not had that big boost up in the volume since we rose up from the 36 up to the $48 area, a nice big $10 move. So could we do something similar? Is that possible? And could we see the prices project up towards 55 in order to avoid that divergence coming in there and disappoint anybody who trades on it before they get confirmation? It's a question that we will be answering as we keep an eye out on the charts over the week. And what does it involve? Well, it would involve pushing past the 618 golden pocket. The awareness of that golden pocket being right there next to us needs to be acknowledged. It needs to be acknowledged then, therefore, that if we did go up there and pull back from that point, we might have some bearish divergence, and it might be a time to look towards whether or not how we would be handling that $43 price point again, representing, of course, a $5-6 drop in price if that were the case. 35 after the hour. We've covered AMC there fairly nicely. Let's take a quick look over here at Ashford Hospitality Trust. Like we were talking about at the start of the show, there is, of course, the concern with regards to economic activity still not having quite picked up with regards to hotel occupancy. And it's very true. I mean, I can see the same thing opposite where I am, where I've got hotels all around me. Now, it's actually been slightly different here over the last month as there's been a festival on. So people have been kicking about. But I'm looking to see, will we see that occupancy remain in place in this region and looking towards the Delta variant? Now, there's a slight difference here in regards to holidays and hotel occupancy in the UK as compared to the United States. British people in Europe, alongside Germans, are very well known for actually going on holiday. It's kind of almost relates back to that whole British-German mentality that led Hitler towards believing that they would be strong allies in the Second World War, and indeed as well kind of relates somewhat slightly to why the British government for a long time, a number of years, actually did consider that as being a realistic outcome. And it's actually really a core reason for that appeasement that happened between Germany and Britain back before it all started, before your man Churchill came in, who indeed himself also considered it as part of the thing. But anyway, these parts of history, which we don't need to go into the details of, it's similar. It's worth pointing out that the very first holiday sort of cruise ship and destination was really, brought into the common zeitgeist by Hitler himself, as he did the sort of the holidays, the vacations for the people. One of the reasons why the Canary Islands, of course, as the relationship with Hitler and Franco was so strong, is such a German-dominated region, and why on Spanish television you get German language dedicated channels, such as a German version of MTV. Anyway, in the United Kingdom, what we're known for is going to abroad for holidays. That's the point that I'm making. And it's slightly different in the United States, where a lot of people go internally for holidays or travel just as far as sort of Cancun, perhaps, and then back again. But, the Florida and the likes of that, a lot of internal holiday destinations for you United States is ends. So I'm wondering, when I look at this, whether or not I'm going to see the increased hotel occupancy as a result of internal holiday travel within the United Kingdom, or if there will be fears with regards to the Delta variant compounded by a lack of global, or I should say international travel. Well, anyway, that's what I'm thinking about. And I'm looking at Ashford Hospitality Trust, which has a global hotel presence. Now, a lot of the American hotels have been doing very well in that holiday leisure sector in and around about the south. You're talking about the likes of Miami, where you've got a lot of the weekend travel, but it's not actually getting business occupancy back yet. With the opening up of the economy, not quite yet have got to the point where you've got those midweek business bookings. Now, of course, it's a luxury hotel chain, but a lot of those hotels, of course, are used throughout the week by commercial customers. So here we have AHT, and yesterday it did great. It did actually push up and put in a higher high. So let's just check, like we did before with our oscillators, how are we doing with this high? And relative to the last high, curiously, we're coming in here with what looks to be class B bearish divergence on the RSI. Obviously, it's slightly downward sloping movement just here. You could consider, of course, between these 2 points here, that was bearishly divergent, and this was our low. This is like your swing failure. Not massively compelled by it into thinking along that way in terms of price action itself, having come up and put in these sort of that double top region and then continued on with, you know, just a slightly higher high and then another slightly higher high just now. It's not really necessarily right at that point for me quite yet. I'd be looking as well, I suppose, at this stage with the way this is working towards those key areas if I was looking to back off from any sort of bullishness. At the minute, I'm feeling bullish on this one, but we need to boil off this. We need to boil this off, despite the fact that indeed, I'll mention it again, there was indeed a swing failure there. Little things that mitigate it, you know, the lack of divergence there on the MACD is interesting. Oscillating more or less normally with regards to the stochastics, but can we get one of these sorts of moments where the stochastics goes, gets confused, starts to pull back around on itself? Where have we got examples? Here we have in the top side. So what were the prices doing over here at the time? I don't know where they were at the time. Let's just go figure it out. So we moved up a bit here, and yeah, so just here we pushed up a wee bit, got a little bit of the old twirly whirlies on the go with regards to the stochastics over there. Would be nice to get a little bit of that if we do actually see a cross. As yet, they've not crossed over, so we could push on for higher, but you know, we've got to be aware that the market's operating in oscillations at any given time, and this one is of course no different to any other, and it's looking at the highs just here and saying, can we actually get that momentum to push up? Struggling to do that, quite honestly, at the minute, but we'll keep an eye out for it. We've also got metamaterials. Here we go, continuing this on the way as we reach 40 minutes. It's nice to be doing this show with you here, y'all. We'll be on until an hour after markets have opened, I imagine. That's currently the plan anyhow. Have you hit the like button yet? Oh, there we have it. Everybody that hadn't hit the like button when I gave you that first reminder and thought, I will do it, and then didn't do it. Gosh, you feel bad now. Thanks to everybody who isn't as much of a letdown as those. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Reminder though for people. I know that people generally speaking want to. It's just a reminder. Of course, by the way, if you've never hit like buttons on YouTube before and you're worried that it's going to impact on your viewing experience, it really doesn't. It's actually quite hard. It comes up with a notification saying added to your liked videos, and it's like, well, I challenge anyone to find a list of their liked videos within 10 seconds on YouTube. It's not actually that sort of thing. It really just is far more about engaging with YouTube than it is about engaging with me. Right, indeed yourself. So what we did with regards to MMAT is we talked about how in the terms of the 4 hour and coming down and filling in this gap, which is where I would be looking at there around about 454, that seemed very, very likely should we actually break down the way and take out any of the lows on the smaller term timeframes of what was an ascending triangle or some sort of consolidation type affair up here on those lower time frames, and that then happened. So you were looking at the prices and we're saying at the time, yeah, I know it seems like a big move to go from 530 down to 450, but actually, to be fair, it's a question always of what's going to happen at gaps if you do go down to them. When we came down to this area, we did see that there was some sort of thinking about things, but actually we pushed right on down and ultimately went in to fill in the gap. Now, what actually happened with this one as well, just to point it out, be a bit clearer about things, is that we came down and it looked like maybe we wouldn't fill the gap, and we got a bit of a nice bit of positive action at the start of the following trading session the next day. Is that right, or is that the end of the day? That was the end of the day, whatever. And it looked like maybe okay, maybe things are going to just kick around about that 450 region. Well, actually, you know, it was worthwhile staying tuned to what would actually go on. The next day, the markets actually did then push right on down, opening period down towards $4.04, sort of thing that we were talking about potentially happening, and it did happen. So that's fantastic for anybody who's able to capitalize on that. Quick reminder to everybody, of course, when we talk about these things, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. I'm just a guy as a spirit guide helping you on your own journey towards education. I also provide some entertainment, far be it for me to inflate my ego too much, but I think I do a bit of that. And I'm just here. I'm here as your friend. Now, what I would like to do as a professional, experienced trader is surround myself with 1,000 good traders. You know, set up what would be something that actually could, really develop every participant in the group to becoming better, where we all lift each other up and all that, and also where we can look towards future glory and success as a cohort of really, 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 really well-informed individuals. Now, none of that constitutes financial advice. Where we are right now is kicking about around about this white horizontal line there. That's the baseline of the Ichimoku cloud. Now, how does the Ichimoku cloud baseline work? Well, it looks back over the last 26 periods, and it says to itself, where was the high? And it says to itself, where was the low? And then it says to itself, where's 50% between those 2 points over the last 26 periods? So here on the 1 hour time frame, you're looking back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 26, and you're going between the high and the low, and you're choosing 50%, and that's your baseline, and that's where we are right now. It combines really well with Dow theory when you consider about 50% retracements, etc. Now, Dow always talks about things on a far broader time frame than this, but the point being that 50% is that classic percentage figure that we all understand, because percentages, like any negotiation, kind of often base around a sort of, well, where are we compared to just splitting it all down the middle. 45 minutes after the hour, kick along nicely here at this point. Going to take 5 minutes to just slow down and read in the chat what people are saying, because I see that there was also a comment came in from Harriet. Good to see you, Harry. Lovely to see you. Ari. Anyway, sorry, good to see you. And Rocky is my spirit animal from John G. Chill out for 5 minutes in the chat. Gives everybody a chance to go boil their kettles again, have a wee, and all that. Then we'll keep things going. 10 minutes leading up to the top of the hour is when we kick back into things. It's 45 after now. Feel free to go ahead and make that cup of tea. And what we'll be talking about for those 10 minutes, I suppose maybe since things are kicking along so nicely and we're just kicking through all the different stocks, maybe I'll take a look at cryptocurrency during that period of time. I don't know. And then we'll get back round to talking about the news at the top of the hour around about 2 o'clock for me, around about 9 o'clock for thee. And then, of course, we'll be well positioned, ready for when the market's open to see how they're getting on so that you can conduct your own trading. One thing you will notice, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is that I myself do not take trades, tend not to take trades here whilst broadcasting, because, like I say, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm most certainly not pushing my own book. I'm not doing anything that would be against any rules at all, whether they're YouTube's own terms of service or indeed the general legislation that exists in the world with regards to financial advice, and specifically American markets, where they're very concerned about that sort of thing. Certainly not doing any of that, but it does, of course, mean that I am not able to take advantage of these moves. So please do allow your hearts to bleed for me as we talk about things like seeing prices of a stock moving from the mid $5 range down to $4.05 and not having the opportunity really to kind of go and short that. Now, of course, once I'm finished here, I do go and do trading, but it's slightly different, and I love putting all my energy into what we're doing here, so that by the time we're finished, gosh, I'm sometimes completely drained, but that's what it's about. It's about educating, being a part of a community, and all that good stuff. So first off, checking in with that, you got John G. Rocky is my spirit animal. Thanks, John G. You're my spirit animal back again. Right back at you. HJ Ari Rocky, not sure if you've covered before, but can you possibly take a look at APPS Digital Turbine if you have a moment? Cheers, man. How polite. The politest of all the Harriets. Yes, of course we can take a look at APPS Digital Turbine. Excellent. Digital Turbine, APPS, apps, Digital Turbine. That's what they do. And they must be a development company. Not that different to one of the things that we were talking about with the news yesterday. Mentioned that that these big companies, the money flow in the markets, the way that people are looking to invest, going in for the big billion-dollar later stage investment companies, looking to see if there's opportunities in there as well for those companies to really try and determine to prove their value. And that's going to mean that they're taking on they're going to need to develop their electronic and digital systems, which is cool because that's the same sort of chat we have with GameStop. GameStop having to do that, talking in the Discord last night about GameStop and how it's developing. And we know, I mean, we've all been on GameStop's website, etc., that sure, they've got, you know, people there. Got to wonder, have they really outsourced stuff in the past? Are they going to develop their own tech team, bring in expertise? They're certainly doing that with regards to NFTs and all that. So anyway, we also see Voicey, ZA, good to see you, Voicey, pal. Hello, beautiful people, and Rocky, lovely to see you, Voicey, matey. Good to see you, Mike, good to see you, Banana Fridge, Jacob, Vivenna. Oi, yeah. Morning, Rocky. Good to see you, Vivenna. Always is a pleasure. It's nice to see you, Sasha, out there. Reminder, US stock exchanges are closed Monday, September 6th for Labor Day. Rightio. What's the whole thing about wearing white after Labor Day? Hope you don't wear white after Labor Day or some piss like that. I don't know. It's not 1910 anymore, so we don't have to concern ourselves too much with that. But Labor Day itself for traders is an important day to remember that us stock markets are of course closed. Going to have to day trade on the London Stock Exchange. Cry face, cry face, cry face, says the Dead Money All-Stars. That's right, I know, it's so awful having to go back to imperialist Britain, teabaggery and all the rest of it to be able to trade worse stocks, is it not? Is it not? Geo Maxwell, are we hitting the magical $343 today? Well, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Hey, Leptin Inc. I made 4K on APPS a year ago. Well, we've got somebody in here who knows all about apps. Let's take a look at that. Ashley dropping in an OT with an angel. Don't really know what that means, but that's pretty cool. Lovely to see you, Ashley. You beautiful, beautiful person. You. Trade Spotting says, I couldn't do bad stuff. He has a tiny channel and a nice smile. Well, I wonder what that's all about. I have a nice smile. I have a nice smile. The Dead Money All-Stars, that's why he's off promoting it on other streams. Well, do. Conspiracy theories with chat. Ding, ding, ding. Time for us to move on though. Damn it, we just missed out on that one. If I'd only spoken less about hokey pokey airy fairy stuff, maybe I'd have had a time to indulge in the chair chatter about whatever's going on there. Anyway, moving on then with us Digital Turbine. That Digital Turbine, woo! Big old gapperoni over here. Other things that we'll be looking at in today's show, by the way, include Globestar, for example. Globestar, will they be the company that helps Apple introduce satellite connectivity to its mobile phones to help people in those off-grid areas that experience trouble, for example, motor trouble? Wow, that's cool, Rocky. You're so good at introducing stuff. Thanks so much. Self-flattery literally doesn't get you anywhere, though. Anyway, so that's just a reminder. When I do self-flattery, little ways for all of y'all to go out there and talk about how I'm the most brilliantest ever. 51 minutes past the hour. We're taking a look at APPS, not cryptocurrencies, as I thought I might be doing. I'll do that later on because this is a request that came in from Harriet Jones, a beautiful person, a wonderful designer. Here we have the price of this thing kicking around about the 382 Fibonacci retracement point. Are we able to see it actually sustain itself above there? We can see that the current closing price is right where it's trading pre-market. I wonder if there's zero activity in there in pre-market. Are we just waiting here in tenterhooks for the potential for us to turn around? Sipping on piss, dropping in $5. Top of the morning to you, Rocky. Top of the morning. Cheers, pal. Hope you're doing well. To everybody wondering what time it is, by the way, it is 52 minutes after the hour. That is 8 a.m. 52 after 8. That is 8 minutes to 9. I don't know. Could have said that more confusing. Maybe. Trade spotting dropping £20. Thanks so much for the sterling, my friend. Excellent. Fantastic. Love you very much. Okay, so are we there? Are we not there? If we did actually, I would be looking at essentially two things at once here. There is confluence. This isn't kind of bias, confirmatory, confidence, blah, blah, blah. If we take out our lows over here, then at $58, then I'd be kind of a little bit concerned, at least for a return to come down here and test the gap area. So does $50, or should we say does $57.99 mean we see 56 09. Is that something to consider with this one? Other than that, though, obviously what we're seeing here is a company which could potentially be turning around. Looking over to where last year was, got all of last year. Let me just see just real quick, because we know that somebody made $4,000 on this last year. Wow, well, this had some bullish trend, didn't it, last year? Look at that. Look at that, all the way from March, of course, like the rest of the entire economy, just flying on up the way towards a higher high. It seems to be taking out market structure, but evidently unable to properly do so really overall. Looking here on the RSI, the accumulation distribution, the MACD, all of these things given us in that period of time the idea indeed that there was divergence along the way. With that final push up, it looked like it boiled off the divergence, though, I have to say. So I can see that people would have got confused and caught out there in and around about that $70 price point, back down to lows in around about, wow, check that out, that's quality. Thanks so much for the $50 roughly, really, coming in there from Generation Ape. That's quality. We'll take a look at BB next. And Kala, thanks so much for all you do. So appreciate you both. That's really appreciated, Kala. That's really lovely of you. So yeah, here we have it, and we've come up towards this. We've come up towards the 382 Fibonacci. We did actually come up close enough, I would say, to the 50% line to experience a bounce there. If we are looking down the way, then the gap, is the gap enough to find that support at? Well, you'd really hope to. I'd be more concerned, of course, that we saw something more similar to MMAT, and we actually went down to $50 or so to actually put in a higher low if we were to experience one. Things that are worth mentioning along the way here is that the MACD, the accumulation distribution, the RSI, and the DMI are not showing divergence. Funnily enough, though, the stochastics is showing divergence. The stochastics itself, in a way, showing us that while we're within a range, still operating within a range on the broader term time frame, that the broader scope of this short term time frame, looking back from one down the way, then we can see that we are in fact in this range area. Maybe we need to pay slight attention to that little bit of a hint that we could have a pullback. Therefore, that's why I'll be managing my risk if I were to be trading this one very tight at 57 area, as opposed to kind of down there. Maybe then, you know, just looking to try and trade. Now, it depends, obviously, if you're paying commissions on trades, etc. That can be a right bitch. So I'm not going to say it isn't, but if you but so, you know, if you were looking on this one, then I suppose it's a case of remaining patient and looking for that sort of confirmation. Could this ultimately operate as a runaway breakaway gap without knowing any sort of behind the scenes stuff? I would question that one slightly. 56 after the hour. So let's take a look over there at Globestar. We can come back and look at this again. I do feel like with me putting a 5-minute sort of slight limitation on myself, that I maybe didn't give you the justice, the TA that you would have wanted there on that one. Maybe I did, though, so of course feel free to let me know. I might come back and take a look at that again. Now, what was this thing again? GSTAR, G-Star. Where the hell is it? No, GSAR? No, GSAT? GSAT? There we go. There we have it. Global Star Inc. Now, Global Star, this company is an interesting one. Big rise up. We spoke about this last night in the Discord for a little while. Question was, why? You know, why? Not in that sort of, oh, but why way that people often ask when they see a movement in stocks. Welcome to the family, by the way, Cookie Monster, who has joined up as a membership. Shout out to all the members recently. Really do appreciate you all. Everybody as well on Patreon. Really do appreciate all of you. Absolutely keeping this thing going along very nicely. Very, 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 very much appreciated. Do feel free to join over there if you're just looking to help support the channel at Patreon as well. I could maybe drop a link in the chatty to my stuff. I'll do that after the news at the top of the hour. Global Star here. A couple of minutes left before we take a look at the top of the hour at the news. Wow, really making good progress today. Nice smooth show. Let me know if you're having a good time in the chat, by the way. See Leptin Inc. saying we appreciate you, Rocky Outcrop. Appreciate you too, Leptin. Yeah, everybody let me know if you're enjoying stuff all right. Going along nice and smooth here. Global Star, why did it move up? So that's one of these things we talk about. Is there a reason for that? Is there a reason for it? And I'd be curious to know if there's a reason for apps as well. Global Star here being touted as perhaps being one of the ones that might be used by Apple in the next generation of iPhones. You never know with Apple, though. It might be the next generation of iPhones that include satellite technology. The benefit being that you can drive your car into the side of a wall in a cave in Afghanistan, get out, use your phone to get airlifted out of there, that sort of thing, all that global, and as well, just really just talking about the fact that you can be outside of mast communication so that your phone can communicate directly with a satellite. What was the speculation driven on, though? Well, it was driven on the idea that they said it wouldn't be one of their competitors. Interesting stuff there. Almost like a predictable play. If you were in Apple, you'd be saying, I could maybe do this. I could maybe buy some Global Star shares and say nothing manipulative at all. Just simply say that it isn't Global Star's competitor that we'll be using. That doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be these guys. Something as well with regards to the pullback that we saw here was when people realized, wait a minute, it's not guaranteed it'll be these guys. Oop, maybe a bit negative. And then they thought, but wait, it should be these guys. So it pushed back up again. And then it was like, but hold on a second. It's only really for whenever you emergencies. So it'd have to have no signal on your other phone, etc. And it'd only be for emergencies to make emergency calls. And then boom, drop back down again. It's not actually saying that you can buy a satellite phone that's normally worth numerous thousands of dollars, $50,000 or $20,000 or whatever it is, just by buying a $1,000 iPhone. That's not what's actually happening over here. Back down the way. Anyway, where we are is at the 618 Golden Pocket retrace. So if we're going to be looking to try and rebase out somewhere and do indeed leave a gap on here in the longer term, then that'd be something to look into. Just thought I'd revisit this chart. Pre-markets, it's trading at $2.03. It closed yesterday at $1.99. It's just kicking around about more or less the same sort of levels as it left off yesterday. So the news, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. Another reminder to folk out there who have yet not hit the like button, please do hit the like button. It makes a difference to everybody. It makes a difference to everybody who has not yet found the channel. Think of what it does is it increases the chances of YouTube telling somebody who hasn't seen what's going on in this wonderful show that it might be worth watching. It gives them the chance to show it to somebody else. And just think about how you yourself at one stage didn't know what this channel is all about. That should be your motivation when you share and when you talk about it with your friends, etc. And they say, "Why do you watch the show?" Then these are the reasons. These are the reasons why. Because you know yourself. Well, you didn't used to watch, now you do. You know yourself. Big whoopsies in there saying, "This morning's show is especially lovely. You're the best, Rocky. I upped my Patreon membership last night. I'm very behind on the harmonics class, so I'm going to binge when I make it home." Thank you so much, Big whoopsies. Love those pink shiny hearts you dropped in there. Really do appreciate it. If you yourself are one of the ones that upped your membership to the $95 Patreon level, then by jingles, I massively appreciate it. I did see that. I'm planning on kind of putting a wee thank you message out to those guys as well. Guys and girls, I should say. So anyway, I dropped my Willow link in there. That's just for everybody to see. Cool. So what do we have on the go with news? The news time. I'm trying to come up with a wee jingle for news. This the news. Welcome to the news with me, your pal Rocky Outcrop. So we have the morning outlook thing that Yahoo Finance likes to do. We'll be doing the news here for the next 10 to 15 minutes, up until 10 past or quarter past 2. Then we'll go back round, have another quick look again at the pre-market pricing of our favourite stocks, GME and AMC. If there's any suggestions that come in the meantime, then of course we'll look at that. For example, can you add skills to your list if you have time? Skills to my list. I can add skills to my list. What list though? Are you talking about my favourites list to take a look at all the time? I'm not sure. Wait a minute. Skills. Let me know. Anyway, we'll take a look at that, right? And then this is Yahoo Finance's news here. So not massive amounts of news, little things like consumer confidence dropped in August, and that might be the worst of it. And this is what I was talking about with regards to the activity within markets right now. Not within markets, the consumer activity. And you can see the graph here just peeking onto the screen down below, and I'll bring that up for you to see in a second. This is provided by analysts out there who are looking at the actual sort of activity within the economy itself. So talking about confidence with regards to August, it did drop during August. I think that's fair enough, as we have concerns, unknowns, as we like to say, about the future with regards to Delta. We have a known unknown with regards to that one. So that's what it is, a known unknown. It's given that little edge to the confidence, and that's something that we need to be aware of. But hey, there's other big news. August, like for example, if I just go back to the Yahoo homepage thing here, you can look down and you can see, where's their article here from the other day? I meant to talk about it, but I forgot to. Where does it say here? Now August is good for stocks. You know, this is the thing. August was actually really good. The worst month of the year, typically August being one of those really poor months of the year where people are less concerned, there's less eagerness for growth and more eagerness for beaches and ice creams and soccer and stuff like that. So anyway, we're back at it again now in September, with when there's supposed to be good times. Last month, August, actually having been really good. It's been a great month. It really has. And we know that ourselves because we've been trading during this period of time, looking at a bunch of different stocks, and it has been a good month. The SPY, for example, continued to put in all those highs. And, you know, over the last 10 and 20 year periods, S&P's average return during August has been negative, and it wasn't negative during August. So there you go. Everybody talking about how they could have expected what do you call it? Where is that article that I had up here? Is this it? Oh gosh, I've lost it. The morning briefing one. That's the problem. Anyway, so yeah, well, everybody expecting to see that, you know, the S&P to drop. We have been for 10 years, and then it gets to this point, it doesn't drop, and it doesn't drop this year, and it doesn't drop this year when we're looking at all the uncertainty, and it doesn't do it during August when of all, you know, during August is when you'd expect that to happen. Well, that's interesting. More news on that front. Stock market news, live update, stock futures rises, equities look to extend August gains. This is incredibly frustrating though, that I can't get that article up. Just a second here till I actually get it. I don't know which link it was. I'm probably just being blind, but I'm going to find it in my history instead because I know that I should have it. Where is it? Globestar? No. Robin? No. August? No. Look at Morning Brief. Brilliant. Okay, thank goodness. Right, so that consumer activity thing here, where is it? Have you removed it? Where is it? I wanted to look at that chart. Oh, God. Right. Anyway, frustrating. Look, that chart, which is now no longer on this because they've updated it. Thanks, Yahoo. Oh, it's back on. Brilliant. Here you can see the economic activity collapsed, obviously, over there in March and April. That's when we saw the markets themselves collapse. Moved nicely over time towards the top side. However, not in the way that you kind of feel like maybe the SPY should have moved. You know, if I just bring up the SPY so you can see the relative difference in the charts. Let's just bring up SPY over here. This is S&P 500, an index, if you like, of the top 500 valued companies in the United States. And you can see that while the charts are similar here, I'll just go up into a larger time frame, 4 hours, for example, so you can see it a bit easier. While the charts are obviously similar with regards to how we dropped down in this period, went up, and these movements where we can see ups and downs, for example, this chunk around September, for example, it's similar looking, but of course we're way up in these highs, and that kind of relates back to that August story. Like, you know, people thinking, when are we going to see a drop, and talking about it. A lot of people then, of course, expecting, you know, based on history repeating itself, to see that happen in that but it didn't. Where did that news article go? Gosh, I'm really tabtastic today. So where we can see, you know, even including this section here, where you see movements around and oscillations, etc. Still didn't actually. It was, well, September here. There's that wee drop just in September. You still didn't actually see a big pullback. So anyway, if we see a Delta variant coming and kicking us back down, we go back down past the economic thing. That's difficult. But the fact of the matter is, it looks like we're up here at the minute, really having recovered. in terms of the economic activity. So that's really interesting. Combine that with a job report, maybe we'll see some interesting news coming out. Maybe the Fed doesn't want to take its foot off the gas quite so quickly. Maybe it does. Who knows? With the rate of new infections now projected to peak in the third week of September, we expect service activity to re-accelerate in October as schools and offices reopen. So can you imagine as well, them looking at this and saying September, interesting month for us. Maybe we see that. And if there is a negative beta on some of these favorite stocks that we have with the markets, which we know that there really isn't currently, because of course we're looking at bullishness across the board, and that's just what it is until such times as it isn't. So until such times as that's been proven to be the case, and we haven't actually proven that to be the case, then we'll just wait and see. But it'd be nice if we did see good rises for our favorite stocks, which are touted as having negative beta correlation. That means correlation with the larger markets. Actually happen if we did see some sort of impact on the markets during September as a result of that, the hangover from August. I wonder. But anyway, stock market news, live updates. Stock futures rise as equities looks to extend August gains. And again, this is another news article from today, and it's talking about the futures over here. And it's one of the things that I was talking about too at the start of the show. I started off, of course, today looking at soybean meal and asking questions about how we think that'll go, making jokes. It's true though, with regards to soybean and insects, and whether or not insects could replace soybean as a means of feeding animals. Can you believe it? It's true though. It is true. It's crazy. Anyway, stock futures gained on Wednesday morning with major equity indexes holding near all-time highs heading into the first session of September. Right? Unusual. It's unusual for that to be the case, as we've just discussed. I don't know that it's the month to stay on the sidelines, but I do expect that we'll have volatility, says Michael Connell, owner of Porsche Capital Management. Now, I'm not too sure if that's, I mean, is the guy even used his brain? I don't know. Anyway, works great in this article. I think maybe upside, maybe limited here, though the end of the year, through the end of the year. So I think it warrants sitting back and looking at what you own, reevaluating, looking at potential downsides. Oh, he got round to making the point there. So he thinks things are going to suck. Interesting stuff for us. Now, of course, as well, that obviously creates a bit of friction with regards to retail kind of perspective, and those typical retailing companies that do actually experience a good boost in markets on the run up to the holiday season. So I think maybe in the next sort of 30 seconds, I'll cut the news section. We'll come back to talking about this at the top of the hour. Back again, 3 p.m. UK time, or indeed at 11 a.m. 10 a.m. US time, 10 a.m. East Coast time. Top of the morning to everybody. Just last couple of points here, I suppose, that they wanted us to take a look at since things are happening. Where have you got it here? I thought they said things to look out for. No, it was this one with the morning report. Things to look out for. Yeah, okay, so these are things to look out for. Worth mentioning these to everybody. 7 a.m. MBA mortgage applications, right? That's obviously already happened. 8:15 a.m. ADP employment change. That's already happened as well. So you can let me know what the figures are on this. I'm just going to let the markets and the charts tell me how everything's doing. I'm not actually going to look into the actual numbers of this. We can look at that if people want to throughout the week. Somebody can let me know and I'll read out the numbers to people. We've got the construction spending month over month. It's coming up here at 10 a.m. and the ISM manufacturing index at 10 a.m. Earnings coming out pre-market. Campbell Soup, how you doing, you soupy and fucks? Are you going to, sorry, Campbell Soup. So come on, do well, Campbell. We always want you to do well for Campbell Soup because we love the fact that you've got a Scottish name and all that good stuff. So hope you're doing good on your soup sales, pal. Post market, you'll be looking at Okta, Asana, Chewy, we know what that one is, and 3CAI. So there we have Chewy going to talk about its earnings. It's expected to report adjusted earnings of 5 cents per share on revenue of 2.17 billion. There you go, a Ryan Cohen love child running around on its own making billions of dollars. Excellent, good to see that. We love Ryan Cohen. We've even taken up eating Chewies. How about that? No one in the market got swagger like us. That's right. Shout out to myself for putting out the best musical song of the world of singing and entertainment this year. That's right. That's me, the very man that did that. The best song of the year was indeed by me. Amber, $25. Thank you so much. Rocky, can you add SKLZ to your list? SKLZ, by the way. Here we have it. We're just after 10 past. It's 12 past, 12 after the hour over here, and this is a company, Skills Inc. Skills Inc. It basically is a company that takes things, people, primarily humans that are not skilled, turns them into skilled humans and pops them back out into the world again, I imagine. Something along those lines. Cool. So hopefully it's an experience somewhat more uplifting than it was for Edward Scissorhands' experience along that conveyor belt as he was handed skills like hedge trimming, when really what he wanted, of course, was just some fingers so that he could put his so he could feel the world normally. Dead Money All Stars dropping in £5 there. UK British Poundios. Trade spotting. Go have a nap. No flaking on the course. Also, can we look at PYR to check our doodles, please? Rocky? Yes, let's take a look at PYR. PYR, why did that come up? PYR. I know this one. Someone talked about it maybe last night, maybe in the Discord when I was chatting with folk there. Was it Sal who mentioned it? Was it Sal? Was it? Maybe it was. If you're watching just now, Sal, shout out to ya. All right, cool. Skill is, though, just now. Really, a couple of big things that need to be pointed out with this one. We come back down almost to the all-time lows. This thing kicked off in May 2020. It went in a world that was, of course, a rising, rip-roaring bull market. This is not a company which launched, before then and experienced the drop down in September like the other companies did that we've been looking at across the board. Everything that we've looked at, really, that's existed since before then, obviously had a big drop down, last March. Did I say September? March, with the pandemic thing. Wow, I managed to stop myself from sneezing by touching my nose there. There we go. Might have just invented that. If you didn't know that that's possible, neither did I. Just discovered it there now. That's pretty cool. And I was able to keep talking throughout it too as well. Anyway, back down here, almost all-time lows, kind of getting that sort of judgment. Hey, boy, do you have what it takes to keep going here in a world of uncertainty? Earnings on this thing obviously sucking balls over here. Surprise, 12. We did a lot worse than we thought we would do. Over here, surprise, 2. Haha, worse than we thought we would. Surprise, 4. Worse than we thought we would. Over here, just your first earnings, not so great. Not your first earnings, actually. Some other ones, nobody's bothering to actually make reports on it. Oh, we made some positive earnings. Oh, this is something. And then, oh, look, we made some positive earnings. Oh, look, we made a loss. Oh, we made a loss. Oh, we made a loss. Right when it goes into its growth stage as well. So don't really know what the management team think about this one. It's when you're looking at a relatively new company that's experienced this kind of transition all the way up and all the way back down again, losing, of course, looking at this thing with a massive drop down. I mean, what's that going to have been like in terms of percentage loss of its value from its highs to its lows? 77%. That's your sort of done your parabolic move down the way. Now, of course, every move down here could go hand in hand with big account destroying moves as well. But here we have it. The RSI popping back up above the neutral line, looking pretty good, pretty strong. The DMI coming up towards the 40 line. Now the thing about it is here, is it time to get excited about this one, or will we potentially see a bit of thinkings to be done? Let me just let the stochastics kind of be our qualifier again here. Nice to give the stochastics its due. Don't tend to do so. Seeing here that we haven't actually got that continuation past the 25th of August point here. 25th of August, by the way, being when we had this previous high up here, put in another high. What does that mean for us? Well, kind of just looking here and saying, well, despite the fact that the prices have moved up, we are still oscillating. We got the cloud up above us on the 4-hour time frame. We could easily see pullbacks on this one, bring up the price action full screen, stretching it out a wee bit just so you can get an idea. Obviously, say you could move the prices up a chunk. We could be going up towards 12, etc. But if we drop back down the way, then we could be going back down towards the $10 region. region. If we hit 1050, then from where we are now, that's a 10% drop off in prices. So these types of discounts are not to be sniffed at. Looking here at the MACD though, it is fair to be said that we have just got this crossover here between the base and conversion line, and that's pretty good. We're seeing that, of course, we have done some good stuff. Low, high, higher low, higher high. Yes, divergent on the stochastics. Need to push on through the cloud to avoid that, to burn that off, to get away, then to go on up. What am I looking for on this one? I'm actually keeping my eye out for us coming up here and filling in this gap in at 1327 or so. That would be my next target, really. I will look to see how this, I would look to see how this would operate with regards to any potential pullbacks if we were to go up towards the 1250 area where the cloud is, wanting to put in higher lows, etc. I want to see an increase in volume, and I want to see this move without divergences. Now, if we get little instances of where we've got like potential for it, what you need to do is look for actually being confirmed, and it's not confirmed there, and it doesn't look divergent on the other oscillators. So it's really worth pointing out that the accumulation distribution as well with these last couple of lows, yep, not looking to distribute as much either with regards to these movements. We've not got into a point where we've really taken it out and started to push into positive territory. If we can actually push this into the cloud region up to 1250, so on and so forth, get a bit of momentum behind us, get this accumulation distribution into the positive, sloping towards the top side, get the RSI to remain above the neutral line, get our stochastics to go up and take out our previous structural area and do that, all that good stuff, and the DMI to be able to work around here, then okay, yeah, looking at this thing, the DMI above 40, 40 is a typical enough area for this thing to turn around at. Just looking on this one back the way at the past, yeah, I mean, so often it comes up towards 50, in fact, even on that D positive. Maybe we're going towards 50 for that pullback. So just be aware of those key levels, I suppose. It really depends how we interact around 1250. And if we see ourselves taking out any of our lows on the last sort of, say, 1 hour time frame, 2 hour time frame, then perhaps we're looking at going for that 10% discount. Now, here we have it, 20 past the hour. Markets will be opening up in 10 minutes or so. Good to see you, mining. Boom. Happy September, everybody. Yes, happy September. It is indeed. Good to see Adele Idris. It's lovely to see you out there. Andy Herdman, good to see you. Yo, hope you're all having a great day. We are. Vic Vince, hey. Excellent. Corey Bing Bong. Good morning, friends and family. Good morning, Corey. Don't forget, you've got to go to work. You've got to go to work. Yeah, so don't forget about that. And if you're already there, then good one, man. I hope you get a break at some point. Wonder what the weather's like over there. Nice weather today. Love. I'm sure you love doing your landscaping when the weather is nice. But I don't know. You could be in Ida's path. I actually don't know where you are. Hope things are okay for you. Hope things are okay for all of y'all, actually, if you're in that storm's path. I say storm because I read an article there saying that it had been reclassified. Not too sure if that's the case. Sarah Restaino, welcome to Early Supporter. Whoa, Sarah Restaino, welcome to Early Supporter. Thanks for joining the family, my friend. Pre-market prices pushing even higher, 223.79. Well, brilliant stuff. I mean, it's good to be bullish, right? It's good to be bullish. It feels good to be bullish. We're up there at 223. Wow. So that's a big incline in terms of where we left off yesterday. Leaving off yesterday at 218. I mean, it's not like, right. Let me just be clear. I did just say it's a big incline, but it is less than 5% up to up the way. It's it's less than it's actually less than 3%. It's just 2 and a bit percent up from where we were. Whatever. But it feels good. I think it's kind of what I think I'm trying to really suggest there. It feels good. To be seeing the prices there. I can't wait to see how they react in around about these zones. If it wants to leave gaps on the chart, then I'm all for it, because they'll not actually appear on the daily time frame. Or will they? No, you see, you could get away with it in the terms of the daily time frame, just like down here again, just like maybe that's a bad sort of example because most of the gaps have been filled in, but you can see the daily time frame, where the gaps exist on here, they get filled on here. This is where a lot of people would be looking for those sort of major elements of price action, like the gap that was over here in the 25th of May. Would it get filled? It did eventually get filled, you know, after that rise up the way. So we don't have a gap like we had on the 25th of May here currently, and we wouldn't have one as they're going on the way. So there's that to be mentioned, you know, just to be bearing in mind that daily time frames in terms of gaps is kind of going to be, for me, generally speaking, the king. Nevertheless, obviously, as you can tell from the discourse that we've had over the last however long, you know, the last numerous monthiolas, that I obviously do look to these things on lower time frames. Good to see you laughing in there. 224. Hey, yes, 224. Woo, pre-market pricing. Wonderful stuff. Lovely. Shake your booty. Shake your booty. Good to see you, my friend. Party Puppy, good to see you as well. Good to see you all. T1000. The War of 1812 was due to a misconception of the term fanny. A statesman had misunderstood the invitation he needed his fanny hit, not understanding it wasn't an American fanny. So that's what happened over there in 1812. Good history lesson from T1000, our liquid robotic friend. Excellent stuff. Right, well, cool. Still kicking around at 224. Lovely jubbly. Excellent positivity. Now, we're going to want to see some things go hand in hand with big movements up. One of these things it's worth mentioning is obviously volume. What we can see here was that there was this big increase in volume, and we've been experiencing a real dearth of volume before. By the way, we're talking in a minute. Have been recently doing a class in the Discord for harmonics, and Scott Carney is the author of harmonics, and Scott Carney, the author of harmonics, thinks that Darth means an abundance. He's got that word confused, and he used it wrongly in his book, or else he was being incredibly cutting about something and being sarcastic. Can't quite tell. It's very difficult to tell if people are being sarcastic through the written medium, especially if it's the sort of thing that they would only do once every 3 or 4 books that they publish. So, you know, it's not sort of typical. But anyway, interesting stuff there from Scott Carney, getting the word Darth wrong. A Darth, for everybody who's interested and doesn't know what it is, it's a ye olde posh word for erudite folks to use when they're trying to talk about a lack of something. If there hasn't been much of something, they say there's been a dearth of it. There has been a scarcity of it. That's what dearth means. Anyway, as opposed to other things like preponderance. Right, so brilliant. Right. So anyway, sipping on piss. We've been dabbing around this fib level for a few days now. I can't wait until we slay it. Yes, indeed, totally. I'd like to see us do all of that. I'd like to see us get moving on up, just like people suggested that we should back in the year 1996. Was it? I don't know. Anyway, looking over here, 228 being that number that we're trying to like aspire to. Okay, 222 is great. It's fantastic. We know it is. We spent a long time over here after the initial decline, kind of putting, you know, a lot of emphasis on the need to be closing above 222 on our daily candles basis, open and closing, you know, spending days above that price, spending time above that price. So yeah, we also know as well, if we did see a shift down the way, that the key sort of area for us, that $200, obviously as well. We just don't want to be revisiting this basin of price action really ever again if we don't have to. 1426, that's 26 after the hour, 26 after the hour over there stateside. So we're doing pretty good. Let's bring up the AMC charts. Looking forward to the bottom of the hour when the markets will open up. That is in about 3 or 4 minutes time. What are your thoughts on AMYZF? Asks Niels van de Graaf. Okay, cool, pal. We'll take a look at that. Momentarily. Checking in with our pal over here. Pre-market price on AMC 47.56. Still up from where we left off yesterday, but not radically. So a slight distinction there between the two. There is a gap that you're looking at currently if the markets were to open up right now of around about 45 cents. But we're not actually talking about the 2.5% sort of type gap that we might end up getting on GME over there. So somebody asked me to take a look at YZF. What's that? American Manganese Incorporated. Well, there you go. Out of all the companies that you ever expect to be looking at, I didn't expect that I would be looking at American Manganese Incorporated anytime soon. Well, that's cool. It's good to be back here with my pals, American Manganese. Right, so AMZYF, how are you doing? What have we got over here? How long has this been on the go? That's the 1 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame. Obviously, it's a fairly liquid enough thing compared to a lot of these things we look at that have got just gaps everywhere. Ichimoku Cloud does make things a little bit confusing when I do this stage of my analysis. I'm just going to ditch it for just now. As I'm looking back the way, a lot less liquid over there than it is over here, despite the fact, it still trades a wee bit funny. Let me just look at this in the 1 hour time frame. Very flat, but there is activity. It's unusual lack of bullion. What price is this? $1. In there at $1.02. Anyway, we're seeing a lot more volume in this thing over here than we were in this period of time, and then going back, then suddenly this thing completely falls apart. So you can see the evolution of this in terms of the stock, actually it's back there being traded a bit again. So yeah, interesting bit, so we're not in that huge volatility zone. When was that? Throughout 13, 14, 15. Spent some years in this phase here, spent some years in that, all the way from sort of 3 years maybe perhaps. Wow, at one stage making it all the way down, according to this chart here, to 0 before going back up the way. Interesting stuff there. It's had a bit of history on the go, so I'm sure it's got some fundamental sort of aspects to it that are worth looking at for people. This movement down that we had recently here came down past the point of that gap. It came down past the point of the prior low as well, not past this low on the 13th of April, but certainly forms part of a downward movement. So we can stretch this out and take a look at how it's been going during this period of time. Did we get bullish divergence at that low just in there? Not really, to be honest. I mean, not really. What about this? Yeah, I mean, not really. However, perhaps we might get some hidden bullish divergence if we start trending towards the top side. So interesting stuff here. If we do drop down, take out that 75 cent area. I mean, if we drop down to the previous lows, 75 cents. And go on past those lows, then just look at the VPVR here. You're looking to drop down another 50% almost, perhaps somewhere down to low the 40 cents area. So taking out that average around about 80 could lead to a 50% drop off on this one. So this is your penny stock style stuff. I mean, this is what you got here. This is what this is. So where are we now then? We've done the history on this thing to give us an idea. What time is it? 30, market's just opening up. We'll check back on those gappy pals in just a second. Here we have this one opening up pre-market to 102. Boom, 102 is where we left off yesterday, and we're back at it again here. So obviously no gaps, hit off the 382. Yeah, I mean, naturally, I suppose you'd be looking to see if we could go all the way down to 91. That's a 10% movement. Looking at this one, I think I would just use the round number of $1 as my sort of cut-off point, 99 cents. Trading below that on any sort of 1 hour basis, then I would just ditch it with the anticipation of getting a sort of 8% discount thereafter. If I was trading it towards the top side, things obviously don't start really looking that great until clearly more than just being above 117 where our last high was, but actually able to achieve 124. If we're just going to look at this oscillating up the way and stepping up the way, 124 is clearly your next profit taking target. Let's put a couple of little extra things on here so we can actually do things a little bit differently at this point in the show, some moving averages perhaps. And we've just got a golden cross here in the 1 hour time frame. So will we see this getting a retest of this thing at some point? Well, if we did it now, it'd be going down towards that 91 cents area. That's what we spoke about. If we continue up towards that 125, we'll retest it down there at 107 thereafter, or 108, something like that to look out for. That's going to happen at some point. There will be a discount to be had. I'd be looking at this one. It hasn't actually turned its trend around as yet. Tempted to start talking about it like it has, when it gets up above 140. That previous high that came in there was of course pretty positive, but we don't need to that was all-time highs. Everything else as well, it came in at $2.05. Massive volume, big drop back since. Where this drop back has been down to is, let's see how it lines up. To the 236, yeah, cool. So take out that 95 cents area, you could be looking down to 59.30. Slightly different numbers that you're getting there on that one, but the same principle applies. Excellent. Let's jump back over to our friends then in the world of so-called meme stocks. I don't like using that phrase whatsoever, but it's a phrase that gets used by people. Right, okay, so coming on in here. Well, I'm on the 3-day time frame. That's not very good. Auto. Oh no, what? You've had a little bit of a pullback already on this one today, have you, GME? Oh no, that's annoying. What this represents for us is, of course, closing of the gap on the 24-hour time frame. If we don't actually close this from this point onwards, then of course what we're doing is we are that's better, we're just is that we've just done it on the 24-hour time frame. But obviously we're looking at this and thinking that this could easily happen anyway, so we're not going to get too distraught by any of those movements. And there we have filled in any AMC gap as well, immediately dropping out of the 618 golden pocket back to where we are just now. I want to see price action continue on up the way. Like I said earlier, if we don't see us continuing on up, then what we've had is bearish divergence. We have put in that high, taking out these lows over here, feels pretty sucky. Immediately looking to take out this gap at 43. So, movements down past 45 could easily lead to 43. Movements down to 43, let's face it, could actually move down to 40 to fill in just this tiny little bit of a remaining gap that's on here at that 41 to 40 sort of dollar region. And that would be on the cards at the very sort of minimum if we were to be experiencing that sort of pullback. The 50 simple moving average coming in here up towards, rapidly ascending towards, coming in as support. We haven't really fully tested it. We did kind of here actually after the cross. I'm interested to see how we're actually lining up with regards to the 4-hour time frame. Excellent stuff. Still never got that negative cross in the 4-hour time frame. So the trend's so hard and up, and the average is showing that it was so hard and up. We do obviously see in the 50 simple time frame the downward sloping line. We want to see this start to turn around. We need to see it start to turn around. In fact, looking back the way then, just to get an idea and a handle on how long it would be before we get that 50 bars just there. There's 50 bars there. Right, so so the moving average is from 50 bars ago. 50 bars ago, right? So from here, so let's just do anchored VWAP at the point at which the from the candle there the moving average itself is being measured from. So this 50 simple is an average of all this price action back to where that white line starts at. I can just do this weatherman style actually for a bit of interest. At this candle here, I've dropped on the anchored VWAP. The anchored VWAP is going to give us the VWAP calculation for the high, low, close, blah, blah, whatever. The calculation for the VWAP coming in here. Is it H3 or is that my thinking of something else? Doesn't even matter, right? Don't even care, honestly. Coming in here, that's your anchored VWAP. Obviously, we're above that average in terms of price. We're obviously above the 50 simple average. You can see the 50 simple sloping down the way currently. The VWAP having already begun to slope up the way. So what I'm getting at there is that I want to see the 50 simple moving average start to get its upward trajectory again, start to slope towards the top side. Is that possible? Well, we're seeing the VWAP has started to do that in terms of its anchor. We know that it's, of course, a much of a muchness. They're both an average of, in a sense, of prices from this period over here. Now, of course, as well, there's different ways of it's great. That's great. We're doing great on that front. Yeah, that's right. So that's what we know. So if we were to come down and test any of these things on this time frame, then you're looking for that gap fill. That's the daily time frame on that one. Brilliant. So we're at 36 minutes past the hour. Markets have been open there for 5 minutes already at this point. We've got 5-minute candles having been drawn in. painted on, as they so often are at the start of the day. So that's cool. We can take a look now at this stage at AHT again, Ashford Hospitality Trust. This is another one of these ones. It's a lesser known stock, but it's a stock that we've been keeping an eye on recently on this channel. It's obviously not the type of stock that's going to draw in the masses from YouTube audience searching for anything at all. That doesn't matter. That's not what we're all about here. Because we don't look at GameStop because it's a meme stock, so to speak. We don't look at AHT because it's not a meme. We don't look at it because it isn't one. By the same token, is kind of what I'm getting at over there. Right. So how did we start off the day? Looking to see this one, just dropping down to the 5-minute time frame, so I can see what is happening over there on it. Right, yeah, cool, okay, so we're at the 50 simple moving average on the 5-minute time frame, pulled back from our starting pricing today, ever so slightly up as highs of 1571, back down to 1536 at the minute. We're at 1545, so that little bit of volatility pushing us back down the way, doing kind of like what we maybe needed to do at the start here. This kind of rolling over that's happening isn't my most idealist of outcomes. You see that we've got a low here, a lower high compared to the previous one, a lower low compared to the previous one. Obviously we want to see 5-minute time frames actually closing up in that 1570 region, putting in a higher high than the previous area, and kind of just getting rid of that. And that's where we're on our way to right now. Hopefully Ashford Hospitality Trust, hopefully Ashford Hospitality Trust continues to perform, therefore. Right, so I had to scroll back out to get my oscillators to appear, and now zoom back in again, down towards the bullish control zone, bounced off of it. Great, cool, that's oversold right at that low, pushing on up the way ever since. That's all right. Nice spread on the stochastics, pushing up the way. Everything looking okay on this one, just the trend going on. Obviously, what we're experiencing here then is a degree of consolidation at resistance. A phrase that's common here on the channel: consolidation at support, consolidation at resistance. Things that I talk about and explain, probably things that will make it into a different section of a course one day. This is, of course, consolidation at resistance right now, and this is I suppose the easiest way to communicate this message to people is it so often is a case that that we're filling up our rocket ship, I suppose, the fuel for us. Whenever we see stuff like this happening. 228 says Duo Maxwell, so I'm going to jump back on over to GME. I feel like that's, wow, we're seeing some movement over here. So did we actually fill in that gap on the 5-minute time frame, just out of pure curiosities for us? By jingos. Well, we mostly did. We basically did. We didn't actually fill it in 100% in the 5-minute time frame. Okay, we didn't. Right, but really great stuff. Where are we now? Up there at that price point. So this is brilliant. This is exactly the sort of thing that we've been talking about wanting to see happen, and it's happening here on this one. Of course, just to bring up the AMC chart, since we know that these two things work in complete and utter lockstep, no doubt we're seeing that we're pushing up past other areas here too. Slightly tongue-in-cheek bit of a laugh there that I'm having, by the way, just a slightly tongue-in-cheek laugh. You can see that we're pushing up a little bit on that one as well. Sustaining prices of 228. Mwah. Beautiful. Pavarotti would be weeping at it. Now, we are going to experience some inflection. Really, I think that if you want to talk about things that are not necessarily so beautiful, but are just great, then we can look at 222. We see that last candle having come up there, the pre-market pricing really showing us the way with regards to this one. If we push down past 226, 222 is where you're looking for. Lovely jubbly that the gap could potentially work out as being that buy of the day. Things that people might want to be aware of as well, because we have this indicator that we're coming up with, the volatility zone indicator. Let's give it a test. We can see that this candle here, that was the first candle after the volatility zone ended, it was here. We dropped down from 215 down to 211, and we pushed right back up to 215 again. Now, obviously, this is historical. It's a moot point at this stage. But what this indicator can show you is you're looking at this and you're thinking, well, basically, no matter where the price is going to, I'm anticipating them coming back to 215. 5-minute time frame, less confident about that, obviously, than I would otherwise be, but we see that we satisfied that. Looking to see if we can get this pushing up of the stochastics. Yawn, please. Like the meerkat facing the sun in the morning. Can we deep going on here with AMC in the face of this bearish divergence with this most recent high? GME, of course, not experiencing that with regards to its push up, having done significant movement and therefore satisfactory amounts. Do we need the counterintuitive thing to happen here to push on up? Because of course we've got a huge degree of divergence between these tops all the way along here going towards the downside. As you can see, the RSI going towards the downside over there, while the prices themselves going towards the top side, as you can see over here. So that angle being up the way and this angle being down the way is different from each other, and it's when you see these disparities that you get a good warning sign. We're right at the bullish control zone, but we know that these two stocks obviously operate 100% exactly the same all of the time without a single second of operating differently, so we can anticipate it doing just what we need it to do anyway. Right? Am I right? T1000, dude, like button 10 out of 10 would smash. Winky 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 winky. Think maybe there's a subtext in there. Not too sure, Sarah. Lovely though. Thank you so much for that. That's really appreciated. Thanks so much. Yeah, everybody. Fractal Fanny. Fractal Fanny. Is that a hidden name? Traceone, I wish we would do that. Fractal Fanny. Is that you, Apple Blossom? Are you hiding in there called Fractal Fanny? Let me know let me know who you are, if that's who you are. Sarah, yeah, cool. Thank you so much for that. That's awesome. Everybody out there that's not hit the like button, I hope you feel duly guilty. Duly guilty, you really should. Traceone, you make your own schedule. You can do whatever you want. Well, there's freedom. I am not a cat, says meow, 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 meow. That's what I heard. Anyway, observe thyself, Sasha. By jingles, there's subtext. Hey, nice one. And Traceone says, pretty quick, the manifesto pledge was only a few months ago, and then the election happened. Now it's starting. No, it's not. Okay, cool. Nice one. Good to know. Similar looking avatar to what they had. Similar looking avatar. Wonder though, I don't want to get anybody's names wrong, but obviously Daniel says, thanks a lot, lol. Okay, cool, you're chatting to each other in there as well. Obviously people change their name on YouTube and it makes me confused. Woo, look at that. We've already come back down and retested that 226 area and putting a bit of a doji here. This indecision. Typical indecision. The charts start to speak a language to you, don't they, after a wee while? We pushed up past our area of support and resistance. Then the next candle that we put in has got that sort of little bit of hesitation to it. We come back down and tested the support and resistance. We're trying to push a little bit higher. We don't really know what's happening in the next instant in the market. We could actually be looking here to have a retest of 222 or 223, but it's happening in there at the minute with that. So, it's like the language of the markets of trading starts to mean more and more and more every day. PYR. Yes, that was what I was supposed to be taking a look at. Well, sweet, excellent. 15 seconds time. Will be 45 after the hour. Getting a good show in here today. Remember as well that if you haven't hit the like button, then you are supposed to feel terribly guilty about that. Yeah, our holidays suck. Ha ha ha. Take the time off you need, says Tubez. Yes, we obviously our concern here is always to put out good quality content, and as well to not to take advantage of opportunities that we have to spend time with loved ones and to live the good life, as opposed to doing anything that we would later regret, whether that's reducing any quality of our output or indeed regretting not having spent time with family. So anyway, here we have wrong chart, PYR. So what was I looking at this for? What is it? Pyrogenesis. Yeah, I made a joke last night as well and brought this up. I was like, pyrogenesis. I remember my pyrogenesis. It was round the back of the house with a box of matches when I was 4. All this stuff I remember, but I don't remember I don't remember who I was talking to at the time. So anyway, as you can see, this stock here is traded like no man's business. Everybody wants in on it all follow the time forever. Lol. CBOE. This is this a Nasdaq traded stock? Wait a minute. It's PYR. Nasdaq, right? Nasdaq. Need to Nasdaq. Actually, I need to get myself the feed for that. I want the proper feed. Nasdaq by CBOE. Learn more. Hold on. Sometimes I want the feed. I want the feed for it. Come on. Pro. Yeah, I've got that. I've got that one already. Available markets. North America. Nasdaq. $2 a month. I want it. Okay, so can I have it, please? Subscribe to real-time markets, and I want Nasdaq. Can I add it? Just add it to my bill. Don't ask me to pay. I'm going to take this off screen for a second because this could be dodgy. So just a second. Give me a second. Complete your purchase. I'm a non-professional trader. What does that mean exactly? Non-professional trader means any natural person who receives market data solely for his or her personal non-business use. Cannot be a corporation, trust, organization, institution, or partnership account. I think that's me. I just use this for my own basis. I'm definitely not a financial advisor. I'm definitely not offering anything out here that's professional. This is purely for my own base, for my own purposes here. Great. Thanks for purchasing. Brilliant. Close that window then. Hopefully go back over here. Subscriptions been modified. Reload. Okay, we got the data. We got the data. We got the data. We got the data. Well, okay, right now this has not. It's not radically changed the candles that we've got here, but there is a bit more girth to them, right? A bit more girth to them. There's less of that kind of constellation of price points that CBOE had, and more where you get the actual kind of data on this one. So that's cool. Going up to a time frame where we can actually do a bit of an analysis on this one. That's quite wedge-tastic, isn't it? This thing. If this were to be a wedge, and a bearish wedge, obviously, then you're looking at the magnet tool being an absolute pleasure. What a charmer again. You're looking at this thing with a range between sort of 413 and 347, so 60 cents, and 60 cents down from 480 could take you down to 340 again. So I'd look out for that. I'd probably anticipate higher low. But that would be if this were to operate along these lines where you go down, you oscillate a wee bit in a region here, and then as well when it gets a little bit tighter like that, and then you have your wedge, and then you break out down the way and you go towards that target, and then if you were to continue down, obviously that would be considered to be a bear flag. Funnily enough, I can't remember a thing that I said about this thing last night when we were talking about it. So that would be considered to be a bear flag. Obviously you've got low followed by lower low, high, high followed by lower high, and then of course it'd be followed by a lower high along the way, if that were the case. Right, if that were the case. However, what I'm looking to with pyrogenesis is for that not to happen. I'm looking for that not to happen. That's right. Stop it, Rocky. You're drawing on random parts of the chart instead of moving to the side like you wanted. Right. So I'm looking for that not to be the case. Instead, I want to see this trending towards the top side. 1 hour time frame, this high better than the last high. Like this high here is better than the last high. Yes, you could make debates about divergence, but this thing with its low liquidity and low volume, really, we seem to be doing okay. I would argue that we're doing okay, but we're doing stuff without divergence. That these highs are not higher closures than this high, that we've not pushed up higher yet, and that this potential divergence in the MACD doesn't exist. Well, obviously not, because we've not closed up higher. That's why those are lower in themselves anyway, because there is no moving average divergence. So yes, and we're at the neutral line of the stochastics. Good point here for us to get that confirmation. So the fact that we could see something which was like some sort of wedge that had some sort of move that would take you down and create what is ultimately then a bear flag and take you from your highs to your lows to your lower lows and so on and so forth. Although we could see that happening, the benefit for us in being able to have that analysis is that we know that if we see the prices go down in this region, that's okay, but if they go beyond that region, that we wouldn't want to be in the trade. Like that's good. What that means is it informs our risk management in this phase. So what am I going to say? Well, we have an edge here in the sense that we're above the 236 Fibonacci retracement point. We do seem to be getting closures in here above that point, and that we could indeed move up. Now we're in neutral in terms of the markets with the RSI. You can see that we're just coming in here, a bit of Rick and Morty lips on the go with the DMI. You can see they're at the neutral line, the stochastics. You can see that the MACD itself diminishing negative strength, like very much diminishing negative strength here on this one. And we avoided the bearish divergence with this high, and this period of time we've not actually been higher. So perfect setup for saying, do you have an edge in an unknown world where you can't predict the future in a way that could maybe let you manage your trading effectively? Well, by jingles, you do. We've tested the 50 simple, following on from that cross. Obviously, you know, the price action was in amongst it when it crossed over. How are we on the 4-hour time frame with regards to those moving averages? Yeah, quite some ways away, but of course above the 50, and we're seeing that's up at 476 where the 200 simple is. So anyway, for me personally, right now, I think it's reasonable to target 539. Probably would be looking closer to 485, to be perfectly honest, in terms of where I would be targeting up the way. If we saw this moving up right now, by the way, from where we are, and the wedge was real, where would it take us to? It would take us up 60 cents. Did we not measure it? It was 60 cents earlier. That takes us up to 480. 480 is the test of the 200 simple on the 4-hour time frame. So then I would suppose, and what did I say there before? 485, yeah, so I would be looking personally towards 480 if I was trading PYR right now. I'm not trading PYR right now. I'm not pushing my own book, and I'm not actually telling you as your independent trader what you should be doing with your monies. But there you have that. Interesting little things to note will be, as I move this up, keep your eye on the 236. I went from our previous high previously, this is where I would measured it before to say we're above 236. As I move this up to the all-time highs, note we are below that 236. That bearish case scenario suddenly has a bigger appeal to it. You know, you could be failing here. Movements up the way that fail to take out 440 and don't move up are so much less satisfying than a move to 480, even if we come back down in both scenarios to 395 thereafter. Do you understand? I'll say that one more time. Movements up to 440, which then go to 395, are so much more disappointing than movements up to 480 that then go to 395, due to the trending aspect of this thing. Although, of course, we could still obviously just keep on going down, higher lows. Obviously, the things that you don't get super excited about this until you're above 666, where we have the previous closes at. So the number of the devil, of course, is what you need to look at if you're talking about this thing having decent trend in action. Back on again to our favorite stocks at 55 after the hour. I'll put up GME on the screen, in fact, and check in with the chitter chatter, because I feel like I miss you. It was nice yesterday after having spent the time together that we did. It was very lovely, and we were very happy we spent that time together. But after we spent that time together and then we began to miss each other, that we got to see each other again later on that night. That was very good, wasn't it? I thought that was nice, very romantic. Now, the thing about this is, though, that a lot of people last night said, or not a lot of people, but people have reported back to me through one person or another up the chain that there was a difficulty getting in to actually watch that stream last night. And well, you know, I do feel a great deal of sympathy towards y'all that didn't get in to watch the show, or indeed were in there, left, and then for one reason or another couldn't get back in. But I try my best there to help. The majority of people, obviously, that did make it in, got in there, and what can we say? You know, it's just us trying to help. Nobody's been charged for this thing. You know, that's not actually what's going on. It was a free community experience, and if you didn't get it, then I'm sorry. That's just the way that is. But I have it there available for people to watch on my Patreon. I recorded it. I would appreciate, obviously, that if people who are in there watching it don't record and distribute these things themselves. Obviously, as a respect sort of thing there for that. It's part of a course that Jamie and I are putting together. It's really, really, really good quality content. I mean, I'm very proud of what it is. It's obviously I'm not really anticipating getting like massive amounts of feedback as to how good it is necessarily from people who haven't been through lots of other courses, etc. before. But we really do try with what we're doing there. So I can't afford to, on top of all of that emotional energy I'm putting into that, to also feel bad for people who didn't get to have that experience for free. Although really did endeavor to make that possible. If that's really a big issue and people want it to change, then perhaps we put the video through a private stream on YouTube or something like that and do it that way. Who knows? As we can see right here, the prices of GME are now at $222.60. I think there was somebody in the room who maybe suggested that we could see this happening just now, and then on that sense, maybe we are less panicky about this right now than we otherwise potentially could be. Obviously, the questions of earlier on today, will we see a gap? Yes, we will. Answered. Will it be filled? Yes, it was. Answered. Will we test the 226 region, 228, in fact, that we actually mentioned? Yes, that's been answered. We will test it. Will we then recede from there to test 222 again thereafter that? That's been answered, and it was a yes as well. So, how far into the predicting every single second of the thing's movement do we really need to go? I think I'm going to take a break from this one because it's doing its thing, putting in a doji over there. AMC, it's currently at 45.87. That is, of course, below the 4-hour candle close open of the previous trading session into yesterday's afternoon. So that's obviously less than ideal in terms of this thing up here closing at that around that price. So we are hoping to see that we can see the prices of AMC above 46. Bang. Thank you for complying, AMC, over the next wee while. We want to be doing that as we carry it through to every single one. So since we're coming up towards the end of the half an hour period, we're going to spend the next 2 minutes with this chart up behind us, and we're going to just keep an eye out as to whether or not we end above or below the previous candle close. Rocky Outcrop, I love the course. Thanks so much. I feel like I'm following along nicely. Traceborn, thank you as well. You guys rock. Well, that's great, Corey. Good to have that feedback. We're trying quite hard to make it something that you can just kind of follow along with. Lee, is Lee been here? What's up with Lee? Is Lee been here? Lee Willis, the guy that tried to bring me down over a bunch of either him making stupid mistakes himself, him having just been charged wrongly by YouTube, or him just being a straight up liar. I tend to err on the side of it being him being a straight up pained, jealous, sore liar would be my feeling on it. So anyway, the guy kind of acted fairly pathetically. So there you go. That's Lee Willis for you. Advertisement to Lee Willis. Really nice guy. Got on well with him. Member for a couple of months here. And then he comes back and he starts calling me a scammer and all sorts of stuff. I did nothing. Everybody knows I did nothing. Neither did Jamie. He did nothing wrong at all whatsoever. He thinks that what happened is I changed the price of the YouTube membership without telling anybody. If you want to and you don't believe me, then you can go and look up what the rules are for YouTube membership pricing. I can't change the price of it. So it's not an option for me to do that. So I can't just double the price of it and not tell anybody. It's not possible for me to do that. Lee, you fucking moron. Stop calling me a scammer. Fuck off. So that's Lee. Nobody else be like Lee. That would be appreciated. Right, so we close below it. No big deal, okay, but that is the half an hour candle closing below it. So we can monitor what that means in terms of the thing. I say that this is a little bit unfair to say that that's the level right there to close below. How would you debate it? Should we have been closed? If we're looking for a change in things here, would we have been looking for it to close a little bit lower? I dare say we probably would have, but it was worth sticking around because we've made it back around to the top of the hour, and it gives me a chance to do a bit more of the news. Robinhood says SEC reviewing share sale filing. Routers, if you like, but it's Routers here actually. Online brokerage Robinhood Markets Inc., known as Hood, over there on the where it's traded, that's its QSIP, has said Wednesday that the SEC, the Security and Exchange Commission, was reviewing a filing of a share sale by a group of its shareholders. Shares of the newly public company had taken a hit early August after it said early investors may sell nearly 98 million shares, noting that the company will not receive any of the proceeds. Wow, Vlad! Seems like those Bulgarian textbooks about how to run a business didn't include some of these basic prompt premises that you would really think would be included in kind of, anyone's IPO handbook in the world. Anyway, Vlad, you can't, you're a busy guy. I appreciate it. So obviously it's tough for you. Robinhood said that it submitted an amended resale filing on Wednesday, adding that no sales can be made off the filing until the SEC staff completes the review and declares it effective. Well, anyway, it's just what for me this is just more of this confusing sort of news coming out of Robinhood. Again, it's just kind of wonder what's going on with that one. Over there in Chartland, though, I thought it would be a good opportunity to bring up the boys in Dahood over here and just see what we're dealing with the current prices. 44 buckaroonies on this one. Let's jump up to the 4-hour time frame and bring on the entire history of this. Of course, started off over here, rose up nicely, dropped back down, put in a low, put in a lower low. What do we have down here? Ding dong, bullish divergence on the MACD. Ding dong, bullish divergence on the stochastics. Ding dong, positive cross again, or like failure to cross negatively, you could say, depends on what zoom level you're really going for in the DMI. We've entered chop territory, so failure to take out our highs can be anticipated. Easy to anticipate, though, a 10% rise up from here, up to $48 to capitalize off of that. If we actually do take out our highs, I'd be happy to look for trend in price action. It's not going to be, so you see, if we take out, we could easily go up to 49 and fail, but I'd be looking to see if we can get up to 65 if we actually did do that. At the meantime, though, hey, it's a downtrend. Hey, it's a downtrend. We are going down. The prices keep on falling, and nobody gives a shit. Hey, Robinhood, yeah. Screw you for cancelling trading. You guys screwed over retail, and retail's where your money comes from. So, screw you, Robinhood, yeah. Woo! Anyway, that was that news article. More news for us in the world of stickety stock markets news, live updates. Well, where are your live updates, Yahoo? Got any live updates for me over here? Got me live updates for me over here. Let me see. 7 a.m. Wednesday, stocks feature extended gains. Yeah, cool. Okay, wait, where's our do I need to refresh this to get my live updates? So story continues. Where's the payroll? Payrolls sharply missed estimates in August. ADP private payroll gains came in much lower than expected last month as the Delta variant spread began to take a meaningful toll on the US recovery. Private sector employees added back 374,000 in August, ADP said in its closely watched monthly report on Wednesday. Consensus economists were looking for private payrolls to grow by 625k. According to Bloomberg data, in July, private sector jobs increased by 326k. According to the firm's revised monthly print, ADP's report comes 2 days before the government's official non-farm payrolls report. This print is also expected to reflect some deceleration in labour markets recovery, given the latest surge of coronavirus cases and warning positive impact from initial reopening jump in consumer demand earlier this summer. ADP's reported payroll numbers come in well below the Labour Department's private payroll figure in July, with the former reporting 330,000 700,000 at the time, whereas the Labour Department reported 703,000. So we're seeing that the figures at the end of the on Friday that come out, maybe they're going to be somewhere in the region of double the figures that we're seeing over here on ADP's report, but obviously not the recovery that we're looking for, that sort of significant recovery. Now, that's what people are talking about. Anyway, the news still waits from the Fed. The Fed will inform us, keep us all informed on that one. 9:30 a.m., S&P up 7.67, 0.17% to 4,530. Words, and words. What are we actually looking at, though? Gold, 1,818. See this figure where it changed from yesterday? Unless you're actually following along with markets on a day-to-day basis, this can be really deceptive. You can see things are up. Things can go up 5%, down 5%, up 5%, down 5%. That does not equal stay in the same price. That's actually a downtrend, right? Downward percentage figures are more impactful than upward percentage figures. So just be aware of that. Anyway, gold up at 1818. That's a nice start to the day. You know me, I love a number. Minus 1.3 BPS to yield 1.289% over there on the 10-year Treasury. That's right. 10-year Treasury yields. Okay, so what else have we got in newsland here? A couple more minutes. I'm sure European stocks markets in good mood after Asia surge. So Asia's had some confusing sort of stuff happening in there. It always seems a bit confusing to us big old round eyes, though, doesn't it? The thing about it is that that's not racist, by the way. Just want to point that out. The thing is that there's been a lot of confusing news out of China. We've seen things like the technology stocks over there being affected by new regulation and legislation to do with delivery drivers, etc. We've also seen crazy things happening, like one company just giving away $1 billion. When we talk about yesterday in the news, we're talking about the $1 billion company, etc. And one of their companies, of course, being able to do that. There's such amazing things in the world with numbers and money, and why wouldn't there be? If you think about how the world obviously compounds its earnings over time, then you'd expect that with wealth creation that those numbers would, of course, go up radically. You know, it's effectively an exponential gain across time, given that everything is compounded. So there's always going to be an effect where we see bigger numbers. It's kind of amazing to think that within our lifetimes, it's moved from being no billionaires to billionaires existing to being now millions of billionaires. Well, not millions of billionaires, but, you know, a fair whack of them. Anyway, over there in China, you can see the British Retail Consortium, BRC, which conducted the research, says there are some modest indications that rising costs are starting to filter through into product prices. How very British. Unlike the hair pulling, inflation screaming, crying out global stuff, you've got somebody over there saying there are some modest indications that rising costs are starting to filter through into product prices. Food retailers are fighting to keep their prices down as much as possible, but mounting pressure means this will not be sustainable for much longer, and food prices rises are likely. Oh yeah, is that right? Yeah, of course it is, and I'm looking for soybean to rise up. Come on, my soybean yield. How's this trade getting on over here? What was it again? ZRX or something like that. I can't remember even what the thing is for it off the top of my head. I'll just have to search for, just to write the word in. Soybean meal. ZM, that's what it is. So I want ZM1 for this one. What are we at the minute? 342.6. Not really actually changed much. Of course, still cooking about in this golden pocket. I really don't want to see the prices dropping down to 337, but they could do. Come on, push it up a wee bit. I mean, this is obviously different to other food products. Wheat futures, if you want to see, here's a wheat cash CFD. But we are seeing that there's this common component in the minute, as there are and so often in markets, where you have, of course, the head and shoulders in here on some commodity. Commodity trading is always a good laugh. I don't see why people never, ever ask me to take a look at any commodities on the show, ever. I've been asked to take a look at a commodity once. No, that's not true. I've never been asked to take a look at anything that's other than the likes of gold, etc. So if you discount things like gold or whatever from your from your analysis? I've never ever been asked. As far as I'm aware, I've never been asked. This is a guy who live streams for many hours a day, talking about charts all the time. Never been asked. It's crazy, isn't it? Just how unaware of commodities retail is. Could the overall soybean market here, this is a cash CFD, could we be looking at this having a big wedge here at this point, looking for us to come in and try and give us a couple of touches along the top side? Can we actually get a third touch along the top side? Has enough happened, etc.? What's going on over here? If we take out these prices structurally, you're looking up towards the sort of the 1400 region. Take out 1400, then of course things could turn around rapidly. We have obviously done the measured move off the back of that head and shoulders that happened. There was the high up there at about 1676, the low in at around about 1495. You're talking about $180 move there. 1495, take off $180. Where's that going to carry you down to? The 1300 region. We've done our head and shoulders move. We've got a wedge there. Now, this is obviously within a bearish market, so that would be a counter trend move. So looking to have some positive signals come in with this one for us. Have we got bullish divergence? Yes, we do at this endpoint. There you go. There's a potential for us, and it ties together with what our British friend is saying with regards to the pricing of food and all of that good stuff. And the annual pace of growth accelerated from 11 to 10. Annual pace of growth accelerated from 11% to 10.5%. Figures from Nationwide Building Society showed. This sentence is obviously inaccurate. It should be the annual pace of growth decelerated. Or whatever. Anyway, whatever. UK house prices jumped 2.1% last month, and the second largest gain in 15 years. That's kind of mental. It's been so long, but not so long. But it's a monthly gain. It's big stuff. So a summer of love for us this year. Are we seeing a fall of disillusionment? That's something to kind of check out with things. So why the August jobs report will be make or break for the Fed, and that's kind of what we kind of pivot back round to talking about at this point here. The Federal Reserve has telegraphed that it will soon take the first steps in paring back its extraordinary monetary stimulus to the economy, but Fed officials are split on exactly when to start that process. Stop. For many of the 18 policymakers on the central bank's Federal Open Market Committee, it could all come down to a single point in data due this week. Stop. I should probably stop writing this in terms of Telegram. Speaking out in terms of Telegram, I don't know. Inverted comma. A non-committal Fed puts the focus squarely on Friday's jobs report, inverted comma, economics wrote Tuesday. Stop. The August jobs report, to be released by the Bureau of Labour Statistics on Friday morning, will be last read on employment before the Fed's next policy meeting on September 21st and 22nd. Stop. Right. Anyway, stop with that. This is make or break stuff. It's a non-committal Fed. So we've got a non-committal Fed. That's an interesting kind of view on the Fed. The Fed is always kind of non-committal, but tell you what, when it commits, it hella commits. I think one good job report, if it's in the 850,000 to 1 million range, will be sufficient to claim substantial progress in employment for tapering. Well, we just did our own analysis, did we not, ladies and gents? We looked at the other figures. ADP coming in with those figures. It looks like if you just double them, we could be talking around about 750. The median estimate, as gathered by Bloomberg, is for 745. That may be fueling a consensus among Fed watchers for the central bank to wait until the end of the year before announcing a taper. Well, there you have it. So hopefully then, I guess, the party keeps going on and all that. How awesome is all of that? That's pretty awesome. Rocky, you did such a good job reading the news. You did such a good job reading the news, Rocky, today. My God, really good job. All of this, all around the markets, tying it all together, talking about economic stuff, and you even managed to mention what Chewy's been up to as well. We love Ryan Cohen. We've even taken up eating Chewy's. Talking about commodities, rising food prices, combining technical analysis with these reports that we're seeing from the British retail people over there looking at Asian markets. Oh my God, Rocky, this is clearly, in my opinion, this is probably the best morning show that exists for anything in the world ever, ever, all time. But there you have it. That's just my humble opinion. 15 minutes after the hour, though, as we come round here. Notice that I'm getting slightly better at doing my timings. I hope that makes the show more enjoyable for all you all. Oh, Katie Babes, lovely to see you out there. Thanks so much. You're so great. Yes, thank you. I hear you've been listening to what the stuff I'm saying. It's good that I've educated people about how great I am. Yes, and I hope you're enjoying school today. Back at school, your last day of freedom. Oh, summer has come to the end. The last of the summer wine. Hey, T1000. I am listening, I swear. I know you are. I am reading as well, I swear. There's no way Scotland gets colder than NJ. New Jersey? There's no way Scotland gets colder than New Jersey. Well, actually, I would like to point out that there's a wind chill factor. And if you actually consider that America, New Jersey, is actually not got that bad a wind chill factor. It really, truly doesn't overall. It is cold. It does definitely get colder in terms of a Celsius figure, but I would argue that the wind chill factor here makes things significantly colder. And wind chill is a very badly worked out thing. It's not very scientific. It's very subjective as well. So for me, experientially, I certainly feel colder here frequently compared to then when I've been in other countries with the less of the wind chill. Now, it could obviously just be my own personal experience that I've not been there on a windy day. One of the things I would point out, by the way, is that Edinburgh has been designed, and it was designed this way on purpose, because what we used to do back in the day was take our poo, put it in a bucket. We used to poop into the bucket directly. I suppose I should be clear about that. We didn't poo elsewhere and then take our poo and put it into a bucket. We pooed into the bucket directly. Then we'd open up our windows, nice big windows. We like windows in Edinburgh. And we'd walk over to them and chuck our poo out of the window onto the street. Yes, that was just the common practice. That's right. That's how it was here. This is a country which was invented before toilets and plumbing were invented, just as a sort of kind of general point there. And then the people that lived here thought, how are we going to solve this? And like I say, before plumbing had been invented, and they didn't really know, and they thought, well, how about we build our streets in such a way that they catch the wind and make it even windier in the city than it otherwise would be. The city had a nickname at the time, Auld Reekie, A-U-L-D, Auld, it's a word for old, A-U-L-D, just a sort of Rabbie Burns style Scots language. And then Reekie, another word from Scots, of course that means smelly, right? Auld Reekie, and because it reeked, Reekie, Auld Reekie, that was a nickname for Edinburgh. And then the architects that came in to build the city, which we did with a massive amount of compassion, building directly on top of the homes of plague victims who were still actually alive in there, throwing bread over the top of bricked off closest to them. Massively compassionate people at the time. I'm just kidding. Actually, they were quite compassionate, and that's a joke. We built this city that has extra wind in it, so we have an even bigger wind chill factor. Was that worth the 2.5 minutes of diversion in the last 15 minutes of the show to chat about that? Who knows? I don't. But I do these things anyway. This is, of course, the Rocky Outcrop show. No tea, that's fine, have coffee. Ah, so it was you who stopped looking. Oh ho, you're finding each other. You're finding the non-lookers. Good stream today, Rocky. Ah, thanks so much, Brady, man. That's so excellent. Maybe you could play us out, in fact. As well. Last 15 minutes of the show. And we do have all my favorite colors here with us. Let's bring up the GME chart. Make sure, by the way, if you are wanting me to take a look at anything, that you get those requests in, with a degree of speediness, because of course I won't see them. By the way, can anybody let me know? Has there been anybody that's done a donation? If you have done, just let me know. I'm going to bring up stream labels now. Stream Elements not showing me that there hasn't been any since yesterday. It's not not me trying to pump that. It's me just saying, has there been any? Gosh darn, I'd like to know. So yes. Oh, 10 minutes ago. Thanks for the day. Jay donated. Right, so Stream Elements. Really, Stream Elements. If you're watching, which I know you aren't, pull the thumb out, eh? Pretty crap what you've got on the go in terms of me getting my alerts properly, which I don't get any of at all. So anyway, Jay donated $5. As you can see as well, my glass there, so beautifully empty, taking up that real estate on my screen. And because Stream Elements, you're all done as through the browser, means I need to go log into Stream Elements to edit that during a stream. It's impossible. It's stupid. Ah, Streamlabs, you were crap. Ah, Stream Elements, you're also crap. Ah, no, because everything out there is crap. Anyway, Jay, thanks so much. $5, £5 you donated earlier on, 11 minutes ago. Thanks for the day. Thank you, buddy. T donated $10 13 minutes ago. Hey, buddy, can you take a look at ticker any when you get a chance. Love your shit, bro. Cool. We can take a look at ticker. What's the ticker for ticker? Interesting stuff. Part of me wonders if you're taking the piss, so let's go dive right on in there and assume that you aren't. Sarah Ristano became a member earlier on. That's cool. I didn't miss that at the time. And then there's other super chat ones, and I do believe I got them all. Yes, I do believe I got them all. Adele earlier on became a $22 patron. Thank you so much, Adele. Love it. Thank you so much. You are not always chasing pavements, my friend. You've made it to your final destination. Thanks so much. That's a shout out to that's of course Adele, the UK-based singer. Gotta love it. Gotta love her talent. She's a very talented person. Not as talented as Ronaldo Moreno or Brady Pearl, though. We can see the GME prices back at $216. Haven't wanted to go back in there and retest the breakout area that we're at before yet. Again, struggle. Well, here we have it. So we've got the 3 key levels for us to look to. So far, we're above 216. Very good. Very happy to be here. Very happy. Very good for me in the night. Then we have 223 area, 226, 227, 228. I mean, that's those. We've talked about it. We've been through it in great detail. T donated 10. Any. Hey, buddy, can you look at any ticker when you get a chance? Love your shit, bro. Any ticker. Any. Right, ANY. So ticker, like check it out. Ticker, it doesn't exist. And then ANY. All right. Okay, cool. Let's do this. Sphere 3D Corp. Any ticker when you get a chance was the request. Well, here's any by it's Sphere 3D Corp. Funny, Sphere 3D. Question for the audience: is that an oxymoron? What is a sphere if it is not but a circle 3D? What do you think? Should Sphere 3D have been called Circle 3D or Sphere? Right, Sphere. Then you've got Circle 3D, which is a sphere, or should it be called Sphere 3D? I don't know. For me personally, I think that's tautological. But here's the charts. 4-hour time frame. You can see we've obviously been in a big old sideways movement, falling on from a big drop down. What have we seen? Where have we seen charts that look anything like this before? This is not a fractal. This is just me pointing some things out. We have seen charts that look not 2 million miles away from that type of thing in the past when we've looked over here at things like Rolls-Royce, by the way, currently trading at 115 buckaroonies. We've also got examples of this sort of thing over here when we look at naked. Ooh, naked, that's right. Whoa, what's that again down here? Now, you can make all sorts of jokes you want to with regards to genitalia with these things. Might as well point that out when we're looking at the naked chart. So over here on Sphere 3D, a company I'm pretty sure nobody is trading, but here we have an opportunity, ANY being the ticker on this one. Scrolling up and looking at it, look, this was a downtrend. This is a downtrend. The downtrend that just kept on giving. Starting off there in 2008, it just dumped and 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 dumped all the way down, all the way, gosh darn down, right down to the time when everything else dumped. And it was like a 12-year-long signal to everything else in the market that this is where you'd end up. Anyway, it eventually made its way all down the way to 33 cents. The highs on this one being up there at 2,600. Of course, there's been a stock split along the way, which make this numbers very high. And another stock split. Let's just see which direction that was. 1 to 8. Over here, 1 to 25. So ding ding, big stock splits, pushing that price up there overall by 8 times 25. So, you know, whatever that works out to be. 2,000, right, anyway, and then you've got 2,000%, no, not 200%, 200 times, maths, I hate maths, I never liked it, never claimed I did. Over here on this one, so I did my maths a year early at school. So 1st September, you got some earnings, minus 19. Nobody's actually bothering to do predictions on this thing anymore. It's funny, isn't it? You often see a company start off like this. Okay, yeah, and then, the predictions kick in. People are talking about it. Yeah, it's a nice one. And then everyone's like, screw it, we can't be arsed anymore. don't bother. Anyway, overall here, what could we be looking at? Very scuff head and shoulders. Yes, it's possible. We've got the same sort of general malaise set up as the other coins stickers we've been looking at. There was a gap in here which has been filled in. It was filled in actually very, very quickly on. But there was a gap in here at this price point. It's kind of just giving us that, it's just giving us that extra eyeball pleasure when it comes to looking at this potential neckline. I'm going to talk about this the same way as I talk about RR and say it's a zone. Looking anywhere between $5, you know, obviously we're at $6 at the minute, the $5 up to around about $8 in terms of that zone. I realize it's a lot, but we're talking about movements over here which have started off down at lows at 33 cents. So we've come a long way already, a hell of a lot longer than any moves between those numbers that I was just suggesting would actually look like in terms of the grand scheme of things. So if we did actually push up the way, what are we looking at on this stock? Well, if it had lows at 33 cents and a neckline which could be argued at being around about $7.33, just because we can't be bothered doing maths, then you add on to the neckline of around about $7 and that range of that movement, which is $7, and you could be looking at this thing going up another 100% up to $14, you know, before it's even done anything at all. Logarithmic charts, what you're going to see here then when I take this as a measuring stick and do this, you know, visually, is that this stick is going to shrink massively as I pull it up the way. So see that it shrank a lot. It was the whole depth here, but that's that much. Logarithmic chart, that's what you'd expect. Pop this on here. Obviously that takes us up to around about that $14 region that we were talking about. $14, good stuff. Changes things quite dramatically in terms of the overall broader picture. Let me just chuck this up towards the weekly time frame and see how things are getting on with this one. Whoa, just don't do it, eh? Like the opposite of the Nike tick. Here's your Nike tick. Here's Sphere 3D. Just don't do it is what Sphere 3D said to its investors ever since it started off trading. Just don't do it. Anyway, I really wonder what this one does. Constantly getting flashbacks to that movie, The Sphere, thinking of her in her tubey thing our sphere thing about to drop down. Yes, right. Anyway, the sphere. So looking at this high and high, by the way, just along the way here, and yeah, there's a degree of bullish divergence, but this here's a big rise up from its low, and that was obviously going to have a massive impact on all of these things down below. There is a bit of bearish divergence, but what we're seeing here is that we've come very, very, very good. Actually, in fact, we've chucked away the bearish divergence. We burnt it right off on the RSI. What about the stochastics? Not quite, but we're close to it. What about the DMI? Well, we clearly have as well, and this one, excellent stuff. So we're right there. We've got a potential weekly time frame, because this thing has been so shit its entire life. You're in chances of having a weekly time frame turnaround. This is a classic case of a high potential value trade. We could get a weekly time frame golden cross. Where's the daily time frame golden cross? Have we got it yet? Have we got it yet? Oh, we just got it recently as well, like several times, obviously, oscillating around here. 24-hour time frame. Funny, isn't it, to see a stock which has got so much volatility that you get the 50 and the 50 and the 200 simple period moving average oscillating around each other here like this in the daily time frame, as if we're looking at something like the 50 and the 21 period exponential moving averages on the 4-hour time frame. Mental stuff, right? Anyway, as you can see throughout this period, we're obviously still trending towards the top side, doing pretty good overall here, having tested it, you know, at every point of asking, including just in here with the most recent cross. Now, is that enough? Well, we've tested it again and again. Fairly bullish on this one in the meantime. What have we got here? Has that been covered off? Yes, it has. That's been taken care of. Has this one been taken care of? Yes, it has. Is this one been taken care of? Yes, it has. So let's look back in history and see if we've got any that remain unfilled. This is the type of chart you might have something like that on. Taken care of over there. Let's see. Is that one in there? Is that one in? Is this one here as well? Is this one here? Let me just have a look and see if regards to, oh god, I hate doing that with that drawing tool. With regards to just here, oh no, we filled that one. Well, wait a minute. And we moved up to do that. It's an erroneous price action, isn't it? It's a really strange, that's strange price action. But then that's an interesting one. Well, I'm going to stick a ray on there and mark it out anyway. because you got to treat these things consistently, even if the feature around about this particular particular one is weird. Shout out to Christy if you're watching, by the way, at the minute. And you're looking for this one, ANY, interesting one to look at for the gaps. He's doing a lot of research into my oscillator at the minute, by the way. Everybody is. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there. I'm sure there's boffins around the world studying this thing late into the night. How are we doing? 29 minutes, 45 seconds. Friends, ladies, gentlemen, we are at the end of the show. I know, it's heartbreaking, isn't it? It's heartbreaking. How are you going to live without me? I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss you. But what difference does that make for you as you miss me? How do we survive? You know, it's real things that we need to consider, real life considerations. How are we going to survive? How are we going to survive until tomorrow when I'm back again? Well, I have a tip for you. My brother, trade spotting, he's called Jamie. He has a human name as well. Is a live streamer on YouTube. Right? He's my brother. And you can watch him later on YouTube. Dead easy. Just search trade spotting. He's actually in the chat there as well. And moreover, every single one of you watching right now already knows who he is. Just might as well give him a shout out. Hey, anyway, just in case there's just a new lurker who's thinking, shit, this actually was good content. Can I get some more of it? I'll be in the Discord, of course, as ever, later on. I always drop into the Discord all the time. I'm there all the time, every day. Now, of course, I can't respond to everybody's questions all the time. As things are growing, you might have noticed as well that I've got less time to be able to do that. As things have been growing, this is a reality that we just have to face as a growing channel, and it's getting less and less time to do that. Isn't it wonderful, though? And I still frequently have conversations with people where I explain nuances of technical analysis in things. I did one yesterday with somebody with regards to a wedge in the technical analysis room. It's good stuff like that. It's still in there. I'll be there, so you don't have to miss me too hard. You don't have to miss me too hard, right? Why are we getting hearts? Is there somebody ill out there? Is it just me talking about missing me that's got hearts with bandages on it? Oh no, I'm so sorry, Kala. Wait a minute, what's going on here? Kala, so deeply disappointed in our government. What's happened, Kala? I understand this. Praying for years. We have many family and friends, military. My late husband he was killed in Afghanistan several years ago. You must have so many feelings right now with regards to all of that, Kala. That you must have so many feelings with regards to all of that. You know, it's a hard thing for people to go through. No doubt about it. And thank you so much for tuning in here all the time, and always being a friendly presence. I mean, I really love having you around. So thanks. You know, thanks for that. Thanks for that. Absolutely, thanks for that. And I see other people chipping in there with their own comments as well. But I want to just say thanks for always being here. Thanks for always being here, being a really friendly, wonderful person. Massively appreciated. Wonderful to have you here. The depth of experience and life experience that the people have had in this audience never ceases to amaze me. How do I breathe without you, says John G. Good question. How do I breathe without you? Bing, bang, bing, bong. Sorry, we were talking about Afghanistan. Sorry, okay, so many feelings. Yes, Kala, you're fine. Everybody's fine out there. I'm so glad that you're a member of this community and you have people, I mean, like Kim just up there above. I bet you she is in turmoil right now reading what you said. Kim, a living, breathing, empathetic thing that she is. She'll be like thinking, oh gosh, right now, you know? She's just so lovely. You're among friends. We're a wonderful place, a wonderful people. I'm going to do my my reverse roll call. Kala, we love you. Right, so we're 33 minutes past the time. I can't hit the roll credits button because Stream Elements and it's all being abolics and all that sort of stuff. We know all about it. But I can certainly read back through these donations that I've had. And I can also say thank you to you guys and do the reverse roll call the way that I did when I very first started the channel anyway. I didn't actually know that there was a credits thing back then, so I would just read out some names from the chat. So here we do it. Of course, Bulldog Buchanan donating $2.99, by the way, through Super Chat just there a moment ago. Thanks for that. Das donated SGD $6.98 through Super Chat. Thanks, man. Cheers. Massively appreciated. T donated $10, and I also actually donated $10 before that. Saint Attend, you take a look at Ticker when you get a chance. Love your shit, bro. And then Any. So yeah, ticker any. So yeah, we looked at ticker any, Sphere 3D. Not too sure if it was actually what you wanted me to take a look at, but that was cool, interesting technical analysis, worth taking a look at. Sphere 3D, the oxymoron, no, the redundant tautological name, Sphere 3D. No, Circle 3D or Sphere, but not Sphere 3D, eh? That's why its stock price went down, because it had a just don't do it chart with that inverse Nike tick. The inverse Nike tick formation. Classic charting technique there. Sarah Restino became an early supporter, also donated to the channel as well. Super lovely. Thank you much, Sarah. Best makeup tutorial on YouTube by many miles. The Dead Money All Stars donated 5 earlier on through Super Chat. I really appreciate it. Amber as well, 25. Such a lovely, big-hearted individual that you are as well. Thank you so much. Adele has been, of course, looking for someone like me. That's it, Adele, Someone Like You. You know that song by Adele. And she's found it and joined up to Patreon with a $22 pledge. Cookie Monster also became a member. Thank you so much. Generation Ape donated sexy 500 sexy coins. That's the equivalent of about $50. That's right. Makes about sense. That's roughly what they charge over there in Amsterdam for 15 minutes. Thanks so much for those sexy 500s. Can you take a look at BB? Ah, shit. Totally forgot. Fuck. I don't do this thing where I forget things. Right, okay, I'll continue with this. I'm not going to do the reverse roll call at the very end. I'll continue doing what I'm doing right now. You stay tuned. I'm going to take a look at BB in just a second. But while we're here, Kala, I was building up to this as well. $20 through Super Chat. Thank you so much for all you do. So appreciate you both. Big heart, big love. Thank you so much. You're a lovely person. Sipping on Piss, Arang, Binar, Team Schween. Wow, Team Schween, you just signed up as a big Patreon there earlier on 2 hours ago, donating pledged $2,565 through Patreon. Everybody give Team Schween a big thank you for that. That's massively appreciated, by the way. Massively appreciated. Wonderful stuff. So we're seeing here wonderful things happen as part of this community. Just a quick one, says Brady Pearl. Just a quick preemptive chart. Yes, just going to do that. And I'm going to bring up my pal Brady Pearl on screen. So here's the charts. What was it the guy asked for, though? Just don't want to miss this one. BB. That's right, BB. Let's take a look at BlackBerry. They're like blueberries, but they're a bit darker and also create obsolete mobile telephones. Do we return to 1013? Ooh, something that we're still looking out for, right? It's still true. Still looking out for it. Here we have it, 24-hour time frame. This was the price point. Opening up here, looking at the openings of the candles. Now, we're still trying to develop this thing overall. Actually, that candle opened up at around about 10. I don't know what it was. We'll have to, the point stands, right? Regardless of whether I wrote exactly the right number in. Think I did. So still looking for this to go back down to that price point, but where are we right now? 1173. Prices have been kicking around about here. Has this got an SSR on it, by the way? I've been wondering if there's a short sale restriction on this one. Certainly some brokerages out there are preventing you from being able to do short selling on it. No skin off my nose, obviously. I wasn't actually looking to do it. I just wanted to know if it had it on there or not. This could, of course, be a half-staff pattern that we're experiencing right now. I would love it if we just didn't go in and fill in that flash, in a sense, right? Why would you say that, Rocky? It's your indicator that you're developing. Well, because we really do need to find examples of when it doesn't work. We need to find examples of when it doesn't work. It can't be. We can't seriously expect people to take us seriously. Although we can, if we go out into the world and say this thing's brilliant every single time. But I'm also looking at this thing thinking, I want to find examples where it's really actually good. Seeing that there was a flash down here, looking that the prices could come back to 10, 13 again. The reason I'm pointing this out, by the way, is because I've got my Rocky Outcrop DMI down here. This is the Rocky Outcrop Flash, proprietary trading signal developed by us. Well, I mean, me, essentially. I can take the credit, but I'm saying developed by us as a community because it's the type of guy I am. So something that we've created as a community here together. And yeah, and it shows that the prices could, of course, return back to the price point that they were whenever the flash effed off. And that was at 10.13. 200 simple period moving average in there, coming in at around about that same price point as well. Worth pointing out, it's actually slightly lower. I think it looks lower than 10.13. Anyway, it's annoying the shit out of me looking at that. I know that I looked at this the other day. And we could be coming back down to retest that. But that seems strange. We're up above the 200 simple at the minute. How could this be? Well, there's two ways of looking at this. If you were not looking at this flash thing right now and you wanted to kind of pronounce how this chart is doing, if you were looking at this and saying that this is a half-staff bull flag, where it's the unusual bull flag. Bull flags, normally you're looking for them to operate down the way, and you measure them like this and you say, hey, this is how the markets will go. Occasionally you get a bull flag that goes sideways. They're like just pretty, that's not very good there at all. And then occasionally as well you get a bull flag which just goes up the way on it. Now this is called the half staff bull flag. For some reason Bulkowski chose to call it that, and the way that it works is that you take a measurement of your run up to that zone. So that would be a measurement like this, up to the zone roughly. Let me draw please in here, up to the zone, so right, or whatever, roughly like that. I think I went a bit far on that one. And then you could be looking up towards where you'd be going next, and we could be going up to 1335, etc. as a result of that. But is this actually that type of pattern or not? You know, is it that or not? Because these are the worst of the bull flags. If you're to say what are all the good flags, what are all the bad flags, these are the worst of the bull flags really overall, and this could easily fail. So if it did, then you'd be looking at 10.13. I have to admit, when I'm looking at this chart, I have a bias right now, unlike when I look at almost any other chart, because of my indicator. I have to admit that. I admit it to myself, at least acknowledge it emotionally to know where I stand. I need to do that when I'm doing trading, because it's if only you could know yourself, you might know the markets so much more. So I endeavor to do that. We're looking at this and it's positive, right? So in terms of these movements up the way, again, you're not getting divergence on here. There's basically no reason for this to go back to 10.13. There's no reason for it, right? Which is why I'm so fascinated by it. It's why I'm so fascinated, because there's no reason for it other than potentially just saying this is the crappy half-staff pattern and they so often fail, etc. Right now, I'm feeling that this is looking pretty good, and I'm happy to seeing the upward slope on the 200 simple, strong upward slope. The downward slope on the 50 simple, no big deal if we can actually continue to trend up the way and turn things around. As you can see, I've got the Fibonacci on here. We didn't get resisted at the 236 and pushed back to 10.13, so brilliant. Yet again, add into the body of research behind this indicator. It could ultimately never work. We never know. It might work. So this is exciting. I think that this makes it even better, seeing that this looking like it's hard for it. Above the 236, naturally you'd be looking towards the 382. 382 just so happens to have confluence with a bigger Fibonacci from historical price action levels in the past, when it's two 382s lining up together. You got the 382 from that historical big bad boy, the 236 being back down there at $7, by the way. And then you've got the 382 of where we are right now. So is it fair for us to aim towards 1265? Well, yes. And it's where I'm currently aiming in the price for this one. If I was to be trading this, I would continue to trade with the markets. There's that positivity there, and I'll be looking for 1265. I'm aware of 1013. Bigger scale targets for us. Happy to talk about them. 1565, 1410, two big targets that I'm looking for, neither of which change the structure overall. If we can actually continue up the way, we're going to be wanting to take out these wicks. This wick price action, a bit annoying. In terms of the body closures though, if we close significant time frames, say we spent 3 or 4 days up above $15 to $17 in that range up there, it would be hella good compared to what we've managed to achieve in the past. Is that accurate to say that 3 or 4 days thing? No, it's more like if we were to spend the week up there above $17 or $18, then we're talking, you know, and all that. In the meantime, trading within this range is most sensible thing to be doing. I'd be looking out for those discounts. Right. Did myself no favors there with the analysis. I dragged it on. It was me. I did aim to be finished by calf 3. It's dragged on a little bit longer than I meant it to. That's the way it is. And thank you so much and that. Right. Oh, look at this. Look at Kim. What did I tell you? All of the men in our family have been military, including our oldest son. I was very proud of him, but very scared as well. He has since parted as he blew his knee out, but I still remember. See, tell you what I'm talking about. Kim in there, no doubt about it. She dropped me a green heart earlier on too. That's us made it through at the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. I really do appreciate you all in there. She is on the Discord, by the way. She's called Sassenach Kim, unless she's changed her name recently. Concurrent viewers 123. How about that? That's quality. Likes 320. Can anybody here give us one more like so that I can end the show here with concurrent viewers of 123 and likes of 321? Anybody who's not at the like button, that would be appreciated. 123 concurrent viewers, likes 320. Can we get it? 123, 321. I don't know. I'm going to leave it with you. You decide. Thanks so much for joining me here today. Really do appreciate it. John GC and Cool Water Bottle, thanks so much. And I will catch you in the next episode. I'm trying to get back to Streamlabs. And I will catch you in the next episode of Good Morning Stonkmerica. What did I call the title of this one today? So September, So Stonkmerica. That's right, isn't it? Lovely stuff. We can call it So September, So Stonkmerica all this month if we want to. That's right, we're in charge over here. I do take suggestions during live shows for title tags and keywords and indeed description adjustments. If you want to do that, we have all sorts of interaction here. Looking forward to coming back tomorrow with more news, more stocks, more chat, more community feeling, more education. Always with the education. I really can't even let it go, even when I try my gosh darn hardest to do so. Thank you for being a part of this today. I apologize to anybody who didn't get the depth of technical analysis that we would have wanted to look to, but at minimum, I spent 5 minutes talking about any given stock at any given time. So I think I probably did an all right job. Thank you so much to everybody, including the likes of Taboo, including the likes of HJ, Harriet Jones, who donated earlier on. Thank you, Kala. God bless you and your family. I'm sure America thanks you for your service. Mining Boom, thanks for being here. Dana, not too sure how to pronounce it, but what we do on the show, of course, is Dana, that aspect of passing on knowledge. Ashley, you're still here. Thanks so much, you wonderful, beautiful person. Rocket, heart. And I'll see you again next time. Much love, everybody. I'll be back again soon. Oh, and by the way, I'm pretty sure that we are taking the day today for the class. If we're going to be doing the class, Jamie will tell you later on in his live stream. I'm pretty sure we need to take the day. I'll catch you later on. I'll see you in the next show.